Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, so listen. Your president got shot all the way down today, all the way down with his tariffs. He in his feelings. Lord, that we don't never know what that mean for us, cause you know when he get mad, whoo, Lord. So let's come on in and let's check it out. Let's hear this, as Paula used to say back in the day. Uh, Dang it. Every time I come to talk, I'm reminded that I need to get some honey for this voice of mine. So let's listen. Uh, he mad. That's all I'm gonna say. He gonna be going off on folk and telling them, they horrible and where did they find you at and all that type of stuff. And then we gon' if time allows, we gonna tap into a little of the other stuff that's going on. Let's check it out. Yeah. Him is mad. Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's start it all the way over.
That the Supreme Court has said effectively he overstepped his powers, and that
He got denied. He got
tariffs were
shut down. You
taxes
are
for
what you
Congress.
doing is
I'll
illegal.
come back to some of the political fallout.
It's illegal and you are out of order. You're out of order, sir. And he is pissed. You cannot line your
Have been
pockets.
struck down today by the US Supreme Court in a 6-3 ruling that he exceeded his powers. Back in April, President Trump introduced tariffs on goods from nearly every country in the world. Well, today's ruling concerns his application of a law meant for use in national emergencies that he employed to raise tariffs on dozens of countries. Well, it's estimated that the import tax
He
increase
insists he know
president
what
coffers by at
terrorists is
least
for.
$175 billion. It's a sum that may now have to be repaid. The president's policy has alienated trading partners, affected financial markets, and caused global economic uncertainty. So let's get reaction. We have our correspondents, our Chief North America correspondent, Gary O'Donoghue, who's in Washington, and our business correspondent, Michelle Fleury, is in New York. Gary, to you, first of all, and the politics of all of this, and it is a big blow to this president, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably, in terms of his economic policy, certainly, and in some ways his foreign policy, the most significant case to get to the Supreme Court, either in his first or second term, and he's lost. And he's lost at a time when he had a conservative majority on the court, and he's lost by a proportion of that majority, 6-3. So this is a big blow to a big part of his push, particularly in this term, but also in his first term. It's a big blow to the money that he was hoping to hypothecate that it was bringing in, as you mentioned in your introduction. But I would also say that the president has other options here. Some of the tariffs, possibly even a third of the tariffs that have come in, have been coming in through other legislation that he's used, national security legislation. And when that's been challenged in the courts up till now, that has pretty much
Hey,
withheld
Monty.
those tests. So he could possibly try
Happy
and pivot
Friday.
to use that other legislation rather than this emergency power that the Supreme Court has said effectively he overstepped his powers, and that the tariffs were a tax and taxes were for Congress.
I'll come back to some of the political fallout and perhaps what happens next in a moment. But Michelle, let me bring you in because just give me a quick response from the markets we've had since this news actually broke.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty muted response, perhaps somewhat surprisingly. All the markets right now in the green. I think in part that's because people were looking at this going, what were the possible outcomes? Either these tariffs would be upheld, you would see it struck down, or you would see a mixed verdict. And I think the fact that it is decisively kind of limiting the president's authority is a clear decision, and that allows sort of businesses to plan past that. And I think that's why you're seeing the relief from the markets. One thing they may be underestimating, though, is how long it will take businesses to see any of the funds, the kind of tariffs they've already paid, see refunds for that.
Yeah.
That process, as I understand it, could take a very long time. In fact, one economist was telling me, you might want to curb your enthusiasm when it comes to kind of expectations on that front.
Yes, I'm sure that's true. In terms, though, of trade deals, of course, tariffs were used as leverage to try and agree trade deals. What happens with those?
And it's a grey area, and that's because tariffs were used as leverage. I remember on that first day back in April, the big announcement, 10% baseline, and much higher for some countries, and that was used as a kind of cudgel to get better deals from countries, and the administration was pretty successful, I think, negotiating more than 20 trade deals. But the thing is, they were done quickly. A lot of them haven't been ratified. The text, the language hasn't been finalized. And so when you have the sort of underpinnings kind of removed, how much will countries stick to the agreements that they may have felt pressured into? In some cases, for example, you could say that sectoral tariffs, like things on steel and aluminium,
Supreme
those
Court
still
pulled
are in
some
place and
teeth
exist.
today.
So maybe
Didn't
on the
give
margins, it
no
might not change
anesthesia.
things, but there is
Just
definitely
yanked
now
them babies
a grey
up on out of
area,
there.
and it'll be up to countries and governments
Say,
around the
give
world
me
as to
that.
sort of what they want to do with that.
Gary,
Give me that.
walk me through the politics of the options for Donald Trump. You made
And
the
he
point
over there
that perhaps he
swole.
gets to this same place via a different avenue using Congress, which is what the Supreme Court is indicating he should have done. But is there enough support within his own party? Because there have been critics, Republican critics, of this whole tariffs policy. Has he got the numbers to get it through Congress?
Well, he might not need to do it congressionally in terms of national security legislation, but if he wanted to, in a sense, change the law to give himself the kind of scope that he thought IEPA gave him, then that's not going to happen, I don't think, in congressional terms. I think that would be pretty hard. You've got to remember, this Republican Party has been transformed, sure, by Donald Trump, but it is still, at its core, has been in the past, the party of free trade. So there's a lot of residual
Said,
elements
that's not
that
gonna
might be
happen.
quietened by Donald Trump's presence, but it's not necessarily gone away. I think he clearly has a plan B. He has reacted in the last few minutes, as far as we can see, described the decision as a disgrace, which I think is what you'd expect. But I was saying to you last hour that when he's been asked about this recently, he sounded, pretty kind of sanguine about the process and about having options and a sort of plan B. So we'll expect to hear about that quite soon, because I think they possibly thought this might happen given the nature of the questioning they faced in the Supreme Court in the autumn.
Yes, and I was mentioning a little earlier, there was that long post on Truth Social a good month ago where he went through the variety of options. If they lost this case, he talked about having to repay trillions of dollars. He ended it by saying the US would be screwed. So in many senses, as you say, he sensed that perhaps this would go against him.
Him
I'm going to leave you there 'cause I know
screwed.
you have to go and talk to other BBC outlets. So thank you for being here on the programme with me. Thanks to Michelle. Also, let me bring into the conversation Erin McLaughlin, who's senior economist at the Conference Board. What is your headline thought when you hear what the Supreme Court has landed here, 6-3?
6-3.
Yes, my headline thought is that this is a blow to the macroeconomic policy of the administration.
To the ego, I
but
believe
I do believe tariffs are
that
going
the
to be
price
here to
of
stay.
groceries
So
will
as
go
the other
down.
reporters
Price of
commented,
gas will
we
not
do
go down.
know that the
Hello,
administration
Mrs.
has
Tom.
several
How we
paths
feeling today?
to keep tariffs afloat. They will just be sort of narrower and take a little bit longer than these IEPA tariffs.
Do you have any sort of realistic number about how much was raised or how much might have to be repaid if we ever got to that part? Because at different stages, Donald Trump has talked about billions, he's also talked about trillions. What is the real figure here?
I think the figure is around 300 billion that has been paid by mostly U.S. companies importing the goods in tariffs. You know, the administration has said over the last year or so that foreign countries pay these tariffs, but that's really not the case. Many studies have shown that it is U.S. importers that have borne over 90% of the costs, and some of that has already been passed on to consumers. That's why we're seeing persistent inflation, and some of that has been absorbed in the supply chain. Now, give or take 300 billion is not that much. You know, it's less than 1% of our U.S. federal deficit. But it will, if these are to be paid back to U.S. companies via check or other method, they probably will not be paid back soon. That is a process that will take a while. I think what we really need to keep an eye on is the president and the administration's reaction over the next coming days and maybe even weeks. We know we have the State of the Union.
Hey, Joe.
Certainly this will probably be addressed in that. The president also has the ability, the administration, to levy 15% tariffs against certain trading partners for 150 days while investigations are going on. So we might see that, which is called Section 122, we might see that method used as a replacement while the administration gets its footing.
Just give me an idea of the impact on the ground, because when these were introduced, there was so much uncertainty.
How you feeling
in terms of the way
today?
companies do business. Some of it was unwound, some went much higher with China, then it came down. Some were introduced but never imposed. Now you have this. It's
Right.
more of the same, isn't it?
It is more uncertainty. And I think, you know, at the conference board, we are a nonprofit organization, a think tank essentially, with very large companies that are members. And our members and companies all over the world, they don't know how to change their supply chain if they don't know how permanent these tariffs are. So a lot of companies are just not necessarily changing their supply chain. And our three largest trading partners are Mexico and Canada and China. And our trade agreements with those three economies are really still up in the air because this summer we have the renegotiation of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement. And with China, our quote-unquote truce was for 1 year, so it essentially is up again in November. So we have persistent uncertainty here in the business community in the U.S.
Erin, we have to leave it there, but thank you for those thoughts. Thanks for joining us.
Hold on.
Well, it's an incredibly busy afternoon. Let me bring you more breaking news. This time returning to Andrew Mountbatten, Windsor, with a new...
We want
Let
to...
me just tell you, the US Supreme Court has ruled against Donald Trump's global tariffs enacted back in April under federal law meant for national emergencies. These are the pictures live from the Supreme Court. We've been expecting that ruling for a number of weeks, and it's been held back and held back. It has just emerged, and it is significant because Donald Trump has lost, and of course you'll remember that tariffs have been his go-to policy, his weapon he has used so many times. It started, you'll remember, back in April, what he described as Liberation Day, when he announced the whole sweeping range of tariffs for all sorts of countries with a basic baseline of 10%. You'll remember the pictures from
he just wanted to
in the White House where
let me hush.
Donald Trump was
him
there
mad, baby. Ooh, him mad. He gonna do something crazy this week. This weekend.
In terms of the tariffs announced.
We can best believe
one
that.
remembers at the time a baseline of 10%. Then over the days it became clear. European Union, for example, 20%. Japan, 24%. India, 26%. The United Kingdom, at that stage, 10%, but some of the highest tariffs, Cambodia, that was 49%, and other countries where it just was significantly higher. China, of course, the central focus for Donald Trump. At different stages, that ratcheted up to over 100% as you had tariffs and then counter tariffs announced by Beijing that continued to ratchet up until it was cooled
Pissed.
down. These are the
What
pictures. You'll remember them
what
from
Big Mama and them
April,
used to say
where
back
the
in the day?
president had the list
It's
of
better to be
countries
pissed
and went
off
through them. Now, it is
than
really
to be
significant
what?
because a number of announcements were made. Some, a very narrow amount of tariffs, the steel tariffs, for example, he did apparently have the power to do
Thank
that.
you, Miss
All the
Tom.
rest were being tested by the Supreme
It's
Court,
better to
and
be
that is where
pissed
he has failed.
off
And
than to
that,
be
of
what?
course, has huge amounts of ramifications because it begs the question, what happens now? Only about, a month ago, 6 weeks ago, in anticipation of this ruling, Donald Trump posted a long post on Truth Social, which ended with, if the Supreme Court rules against us, the country is screwed. That's what he said
Pissed
at
on.
the
There we
time,
go.
because it opens the door to all sorts of questions about should the monies raised by tariffs now be returned? What happens to the legality of what has been done so far? Where does that leave all those companies that have changed the way they export to the US because of those tariffs? Where does it actually leave Donald Trump with the use of that weapon? We've seen at different stages Donald Trump impose tariffs when he's not liked the policies that countries are actually carrying out. So one remembers when it came to the issue and the debate and the controversy around Greenland, suddenly the president slapping on extra tariffs to European countries. That never got implemented, but it was the weapon that he continued to go back to. And the same was true about Brazil and the former President Bolsonaro around his trial. So it is the weapon that Donald
You're
Trump
so
has
polite,
consistently
Monty.
used in this, the second
Peed
term
on.
of the US Supreme Court
That ain't how they said
against
that.
Donald
No,
Trump's
they did not
global
say that.
tariffs. The US Supreme Court
You
ruling
rather be pissed
against
off
Donald
than to
Trump's
be
global tariffs
peed
enacted under
on.
the
No,
federal law
that
meant
ain't the flow.
for national emergencies. And of course, the point has been made
Hey,
that
y'all, 30
at
people
no
in here,
stage
hit the
should
like
Donald
button,
Trump
please.
go back to Congress, say, look, this is the situation. I want to implement tariffs and go through Congress. He bypassed Congress. These were just moves made from the White House, and
I just
the
got, it
Supreme
says
Court
Trump
ruling
called justice
against that. In a
fools
moment, I'll
and
talk to Justin
lapdogs
Wolfers. He has
for ruling
talked to me
against
so many times
him
along
on
the way, professor
tariffs.
of economics, when we've talked tariffs in the past. I think the line has been established to
Oh
him. So let's
my
bring him in to the
God.
conversation. Justin, great to have you in quick time. Your initial reaction to this breaking development?
Huge big news. Mate, I'm not a lawyer. I can't tell you what
Oh,
should have happened, but I can tell you that the Emergency Powers Act doesn't use the word tariff. The Constitution gives the right to tariffs at all taxes to Congress. This decision doesn't say you can't issue tariffs. It says the president has to go through
oh, he in
Congress to do it.
construction.
So it's all about the unilateral power of our king over here. I think what you're going to see very quickly is a very positive reaction from global markets. That's markets telling you that the president's signature policy that he fought so hard for to help American businesses, markets believe it hurts American businesses.
Oh, come
Let's
on.
say with that breaking news of the last hour, Donald Trump's sweeping global tariffs have been struck down today by the US Supreme Court in a 6-3 ruling that he exceeded his powers. Back in April, President Trump introduced tariffs on goods from nearly every country in the world. Well, today's ruling concerns his application of a law meant for use in national emergencies that he employed to raise tariffs on dozens of countries. Well, it's estimated that the import taxes boosted Treasury coffers by at least $175 billion. It's a sum that may now have to be repaid. The president's policy has alienated trading partners,
I
affected
know
financial
them
markets,
all.
and caused
I call
global
them
economic uncertainty.
adjective.
So let's get reaction.
Let's
from
get
our
reaction.
correspondents, our Chief North America correspondent Gary O'Donoghue, who's in Washington, and our business correspondent Michelle Fleury is in New York. Gary, to you first of all, and the politics of all of this, and it is a big blow to this president, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably, in terms of his economic policy, certainly, and in some ways his foreign policy, the most significant case to get to the Supreme Court, either in his first or second term, and he's lost. And he's lost at a time when he had a conservative majority on the court, and he's lost by a proportion of that majority.
Dang it, I didn't think it was.
This is a big blow to a big part of his push, particularly in this term, but also in his first term. It's a big blow to the money that he was hoping to hypothecate that it was bringing in, as you mentioned in your introduction. But I would also say that...
come on, y'all go, I want to hear him cry.
Some of the tariffs, possibly even a third of the tariffs that have come in.
Significantly higher. China, of course, the central...
for the remainder of the Trump administration's term here.
That he had a backup plan. When I was talking earlier to Gary O'Donoghue, he was alluding to much the same, that you got the sense from the White House, from the president over recent weeks, that they thought this was a possibility, that this ruling was coming down the tracks, and they were working around contingencies around a backup plan, and that certainly seems to be what the president has said in the last hour or so. Well, let's stay with this because, as I said, the Supreme Court striking down Donald Trump's tariffs policy, saying he exceeded his powers. Back in April, you remember, Donald Trump introduced tariffs on goods from nearly every country in the world. Today's ruling concerns his application of a law meant for use in national emergencies that he employed to actually raise tariffs on dozens
Hold on.
It's estimated that the import taxes boosted Treasury, reducing them, and
of our king over here.
Did they take this off?
Which is amusing because he has that.
Oh, yeah, this
degree,
ain't
so he
it.
should have taken economics.
Hold on, this ain't it. They done did the fool. Hold on. I'm gonna go here. I want to see him cry. I want to hear him cry.
Today I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122, over and above our normal tariffs already being charged.
He's going to punish
y'all.
y'all.
We're also initiating several Section 301 and other investigations to protect our country from unfair trading practices of other countries and companies. A new record. We set a record every time. Well, thank you very much for being here. The Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs is deeply disappointing, and I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed, for not having the courage to do what's right for our country. I'd like to thank and congratulate Justices Thomas, Alito, and Kavanaugh for their strength and wisdom and love of our country, which is right now very proud of those justices. When you read the dissenting opinions, there's no way that anyone can argue against them. There's no way. Foreign countries that have been ripping us off for years are ecstatic. They're so happy. And they're dancing in the streets, but they won't be dancing for long.
Look at
I
it.
can assure you.
They dancing in the street.
Democrats on the court are thrilled, but they will automatically vote no.
He said they dancing in the street now, but it won't be dancing for long. What? What? Y'all, hey Cynthia, him said, oh, they dancing in the streets now. But hold that mute. Hold that.
That I can assure you. They're dancing in the streets, but they won't be dancing.
Did he say sleep?
Ecstatic.
They're static. He's so mad. He's stumbling over his words. He say they is static. Oh, which clone is this? He almost look like he got a gap in between them teeth. He say they is static. but they won't be for very long.
Foreign countries that have been ripping us off for years are ecstatic. They're so happy.
Oh, he got that
And they're
heavy
dancing
tongue
in the
today. Oh
static.
my God.
They're so happy. And they're dancing in the street. Foreign countries that have been ripping us off for years are ecstatic. They're
Static.
so happy.
They're so happy.
And they're dancing in the streets, but they won't be dancing
They dancing
for long.
in the street.
Foreign countries that have been ripping us off for years are ecstatic. They're so happy. And they're dancing in the streets, but they won't be dancing
Dancing in
for
the
long.
street.
That I can assure you.
I'm glad I woke
Democrats
up and
on
I,
the
I
court
supported this character.
Are thrilled.
Thank
They
you
will
for
automatically
waking
vote no.
up.
They're
You
an
can't
automatic
come
no,
to the
just like in
light, the
Congress, they're an
psycho.
automatic no.
Yeah, because this is crazy.
They're against anything that makes
What a
America strong,
jackwagon.
healthy, and great again. They also are a, frankly, disgrace to our nation. those justices.
Disgrace.
They're an automatic no, no matter how good a case you have. It's a no.
Oh, you had,
Knock their loyalty.
he was counting on that
It's
money,
one
y'all.
thing you can do with some of our people. Others think they're being politically correct.
He was counting on that money.
You can't knock their loyalty. It's one thing.
So,
They also
so
are a-
he rather loyalty than law. So he's saying, I'm pissed cause they not loyal. He said, up the law. They ain't loyal. Oh, okay. Well, come on with that now. That right there, that's you for real. That's how you feel.
Frankly, disgrace to our nation, those justices.
Yes, you are.
They're an automatic no, no matter how good a case you have. It's a no. But you can't knock their loyalty.
You can't like that.
It's one thing
Boy, why you can't
can do.
talk?
with some of our people. Others think they're being politically correct, which has happened before far too often with certain members of this court, and it's happened so often with this court. What a shame. Having to do with voting in particular, when in fact they're just being fools and lapdogs for the rhinos and the radical left Democrats, and not that this should have anything at all to do with it. They're very unpatriotic and disloyal to our Constitution. It's my opinion that the court has been swayed by foreign interests and a political movement that is far smaller than people would ever think. It's a small movement. I won by millions of votes. We won in a landslide. With all the cheating that went on, there was a lot of it, but we still won in a landslide. Too big to rig. But these people are obnoxious, ignorant, and loud. They're very loud.
Loud.
And I think certain justices are afraid of that. They don't want to do the right thing.
What does loud have
They're
to
afraid
do
of it.
with they voted against you?
This was an important case to me. More
'Cause
as
you
a
were-
symbol of economic national security.
You were operating
And also-
illegally.
I would say, just for our country itself, so important, because we're doing so well as a country. We've never done so well. The
Oh, you're
good
so
news
foolish.
is that there are methods, practices, statutes, and authorities, as recognized by the entire court in this terrible decision, and also as recognized by Congress, which they refer to, that are
He's
even
vindicated.
stronger than the
They
IEPA
cut
tariffs
it
available to me as
On
president
his
of
hush
the
money.
United
You sure did.
States. And
They sure did cut in
in
on it.
actuality, I was very modest in my ask of other countries and businesses because I wanted,
He has single-handedly
and it's very
destroyed our
important, I want to be
infrastructure
very
and destroyed
well
our
behaved,
views in
because
the
I wanted to
world,
do anything,
or
I
this
didn't want to do
country
anything
is
that would
destined
affect the
to fall
decision
now.
of the court.
Yeah, they got to get him out of
Because I
there.
understand
He
the
is
court.
Israel plant.
I
Absolutely.
understand how they're very
Absolutely.
easily swayed.
He owes that woman gave
I
him
want to be a good
$100
boy.
million. Oh,
I
he
have very
and he broke.
effectively utilized tariffs over the past year to make
Oh
America
Lord,
great
y'all
again.
listen. And I hate to say this, but I hate to say this. Either, oh Lord, ain't he mad? Savannah Guthrie, baby. If he ain't gave you your mama back by now, you may not get her back. Cause he mad. And he gotta take it out on somebody because he's spiteful like that. And, since all of his bank accounts, won't no banks fool with him, and his accounts are frozen. They seizing properties, and Ivanka, she showed them the red folder that he wasn't supposed to have, and Melania, she showed them where the safe was, and yeah, he ain't got no money. So if you didn't get him no more money like he requested, baby girl, you may not get your mama back. I hope you do. I hope he proved me wrong, but he mad right now. Them fake teeth about to pop up out his mouth. Them little eyes, that slit finna pop up in that eye. He finna transform back into a reptilian. Him mad. I'm just saying, have them folk go find your mama, cause this weekend may be the end for her. He just that mad. But Lord, I hope not. Lord, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Our stock market has just recently broken 50,000 on the Dow, and simultaneously,
He in such
and even
denial.
more amazingly, broken 7,000 on the S&P. Two numbers that everybody thought upon our landslide election victory could not be attained. Think of that. Nobody thought it was possible to do it within 4 years, and we did it in 1 year. They said you'll never be able, you'll go back and you read the geniuses, read their statements, all of the Nobel Prize winners in economics. They said, no, you couldn't do it in 4 years. Well, we didn't do it in 4 years, we did it in 1 year. We broke every record in the book, and we're continuing to do so. Tariffs have likewise been used to end 5 of the 8 wars that I settled. I settled 8 wars,
The
whether you
smell
like
that's
it or
coming
not.
out his
Including
diapers
India,
loud. It
Pakistan,
sure
big
is, ain't
ones. Nuclear. Could have been nuclear. Prime Minister of Pakistan said yesterday at the great meeting that we had, the
the psychic,
board.
I don't know what that is.
He said yesterday that President Trump could have saved 35 million lives by getting us to stop fighting. They were getting ready to do some bad things. But they've given us great national security, these tariffs have. And together with our strong borders, reduced fentanyl coming into our country by 30%. When I use them as a penalty against countries illegally sending this poison into our country to poison our youth. All of those tariffs remain. They all remain. I don't know if you know that or not. They all remain. We're still getting them.
Hey, Gap Pat.
We will after the decision. Guess there's nobody left to appeal to. But again, those 3 people, such respect. I've had a lot of respect for them anyway, but such great respect. But other alternatives will now be used to replace the ones that the court incorrectly
Them teeth
rejected.
about to fall out his
We
mouth.
have alternatives. Great alternatives. Could be more money. We'll take in more money, and we'll be a lot stronger for it. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. We'll continue to do so. To show you how ridiculous the opinion is, however, the court said that I'm not allowed to charge even $1. I can't charge $1.
Not $1.
Can't charge $1.
Ain't he pissed?
I would have used 1 penny, but we don't make the pennies anymore. We save money.
He said, I can't even charge $1.
The court said that I'm not allowed to charge even $1. I can't charge $1. The court said that I'm not allowed to charge even $1. I can't charge $1.
You can't charge $1.
Can't charge $1.
Yeah, that's what happens when you abuse stuff. You can't even charge $1. $1. No. Yeah, please hit the like button. Not even $1. Yes, that's because you are out of order. It's illegal, and you gonna have to pay the people back. Oh Lord, oh Lord, let's go. Come on.
The court said that I'm not allowed to charge even $1. I can't charge $1. Can't charge $1. I would have used 1 penny, but
Somebody told you no. The answer is no. It's no. Now get over it.
$1. I can't charge $1. It is, however, the court said that I'm not allowed to charge even $1. I can't charge $1. Can't charge $1. I
Yeah.
would have used 1 penny, but we don't make the pennies anymore.
He
We
said,
save
I
money.
need that dollar though.
Can't charge $1 to
I
any
need
country
to be
under
able to charge
IEPA.
them.
Not $1. I assume to protect other countries. This must have been done to protect those other countries.
You so
Certainly
slow.
not the United States of America.
No, you
Which they
mean
should be
it's not
interested in
going to help
Can't
you.
charge $1 to any country under IEPA. Not one. Can't charge $1.
I can't get over it,
We
y'all.
use 1 penny, but we don't make the pennies anymore. We save. So, to show you how ridiculous the opinion is, however, the court said that I'm not allowed to charge even $1. I can't
Even
charge
$1.
$1. Can't charge $1.
I thought
I
you
would've
knew
used
that.
1 penny, but we don't make the pennies anymore. We save money. Can't charge $1 to any country under IEPA. Not $1. I assume to protect other countries. This must have been done to protect those other countries. Certainly not the United States of America, which they should be interested in protecting. That's what they're supposed to be protecting. But I am allowed to cut off any and all trade or business.
Now he
with
finna
that
cut
same
'em
country.
off,
In other words,
y'all.
I can destroy
He gonna
the
cut
trade. I
'em
can
off.
destroy the country. I'm even allowed to impose a foreign country destroying embargo. I can embargo. I can do anything I want, but I can't charge $1.
Absolutely. It's hard for him to comprehend, baby. It is hard for him to comprehend.
Because
I
that's
could,
not what it says.
I can cut him off,
That's not the way it even reads.
but I can't charge him.
Because that's not what it says.
Yes, it is.
And that's not the way it even reads.
Yes, it is.
I can do anything I want to do to them
But you can't charge him.
this with that same country. In other words, I can destroy the trade. I can destroy the country. I'm even allowed to impose a foreign country destroying embargo. I can embargo. I can do anything I want, but I can't charge $1.
Absolutely.
Because that's not what it says.
Yeah, you can't steal.
And that's not the way it even reads.
How about that?
I
Is
can
that
do
better for
anything I
you?
want to do to them, but I can't charge
You can't
any
steal.
money. So I'm allowed to destroy the country, but I can't charge them a little fee. I could give them
A little fee.
2-cent fee, but I cannot charge under any circumstances. I cannot charge them anything. Think of that. How ridiculous is that? I'm allowed to embargo them. I'm allowed to tell them you can't do business in the United States anymore. We want you out of here. But if I want to charge them $10, I
No.
can't do that. It's incorrect. Their decision's incorrect. But it doesn't matter because we have very powerful alternatives that have been approved by this decision. You know, they've been approved by the decision for those that thought they had us. And they're saying that I have the absolute right to license, but not the right to charge a license fee. So think of that. I have the right to license, which is a very powerful word. In many ways, license is more powerful than tariffs. In fact, I was thinking about using it.
No, you
But they
wouldn't.
came up with the idea that I can license, just like the people that were opposing me told them to do.
Ain't he
But not the
sad?
right to charge a license fee. Think of that. Who ever heard of such a thing? What license has ever been issued without the right to charge a fee? You get a license, you charge a fee. It's automatic, but not with this court. But now the court has given me the unquestioned right to ban all sorts of things from coming into our country, to destroy foreign countries.
Yeah, he
But
finna
a
start
much more
banning
powerful
stuff,
right
y'all.
than
He mad.
Many people ever thought we even had, but not the right to charge a fee. How crazy is that?
But
Our
not
country
the
is
right
the
to
hottest
charge.
country
Ooh.
anywhere in the world right now. And it was a dead country 1.5
The hottest
years
fish
ago
grease,
under
y'all.
an incompetent president. But now I'm going to go in a different direction, probably the direction that I should have gone the first time, but I read the language. I'm very good at reading language, and it read our way 100%. But now I'll go the way I could have gone originally.
But
Different
man,
direction.
please.
Probably the direction that I should have gone the first time, but I read the language. I'm very good at reading language, and it read our way 100%. But now I'll go the way I could have gone originally, which is even stronger than our original choice. As Justice Kavanaugh, whose stock has gone so up, you have to see, I'm so proud of him, wrote in his dissent, although I firmly disagree with the court's holding today, the decision might not substantially constrain a president's ability to order tariffs going forward. So, think of that. The decision might not substantially constrain. And it doesn't, he's right. In fact, I can charge much
Now-
more than I was charging.
Look at him. He's still.
So I'm going to just, although I firmly
What,
disagree
sir?
with the court's holding
Sir?
today, the decision
Sir?
might not
Sir, well, if you talking about you can do this, you can do that, I can charge more now, then why you mad? Then why are you mad? Huh? If it's working in your favor, why are you mad? You should be happy. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Why you mad? That's what I'm trying to understand. What you mad for? I don't get it. You pissed because you could not charge not even $1. Because the court sassed his ass. Yeah, Yeah, you thought you had it hemmed up. Everybody tired of your abuse. I don't know how else to tell you. They are sick and tired of your abuse, your threats, your disrespect, and you're all over the Epstein files. You're lying in people's face. You have more regards for the predators. You said you feel sorry for Andrew. You are never, ever have empathy for the victims. Male, female, boys, girls, babies. So the answer is no. Denied. Denied. Now your feelings hurt. Your pockets hurt. Your family turning against you. The shit all in your funky ass panty, the diaper. They say you smell like hell. I hope this is the beginning of what's gonna come your way. Every day, I hope somebody tell you no. I hope somebody tell you denied. Every day. So you get used to it. And then I hope they find a way for somebody to come to their terms and put them handcuffs on you. They trying to get you on some other cases, see. But your ass be leaving out of court before you supposed to. Yeah, I got my eye on you, man. They trying to get you because once they lock your ass up for whatever reason, they ain't gonna let you go. And you know this, man, because you can't get a surety bond. You know this. So I know why you're mad, but I'm going to ask you again, sir, please let Savannah Guthrie's mama go unharmed. Please let her go. I know you got her because you the only fool that'll be running around here asking for Bitcoins because you can't get no money out the bank. Your money is froze. Nobody want to fool with you. Okay? And Melania told them feds and marshals where y'all safe was. Please let Savannah Guthrie's mama go. It wasn't her fault that them people needed a place, the victims needed a place to go and talk. It's not Savannah's fault that the courts and the Department of Justice released part of the Epstein files. And I know you know that we all know that the 3+ million that they hiding and won't let go, we know that you all up in there. Oh, that's you. Oh, that's you. Yeah. Carry on. So you need to get real familiar with hearing no. The answer is no. Yeah, you need to hear that more often. Let's go.
So, think of that. The decision might not substantially constrain.
Cause
And it
what?
doesn't, he's right. In fact, I can
What? Cause boy, it sound like you got that BB Netanyahu tongue today. Which clone is this one? This is the smart sarcastic clone. Okay, the one that really can't talk. Okay, did you get a swig before you went out there?
think of that. The decision might not substantially constrain. And it doesn't, he's right. In fact, I can charge much more than I was charging. So I'm going to just start. Although I firmly disagree with the court's holding today, the decision might not
Did y'all get that? After constraint? What was that? What you saying?
And it doesn't, he's right. In fact, I can charge much more than I was charging. So I'm going to just start. Although I firmly disagree with the court's holding today, the decision might not substantially
he done took a swig.
constrain a president's ability to order tariffs going forward.
Oh,
That's
he took a
because
swig.
numerous other federal statutes, which is so true, authorize the president to impose tariffs and might justify most, if not all, of the tariffs issued in this case. Even more tariffs, actually. Those statutes include, think of that, those statutes include, for example, the Trade Expansion Act of 1962, Section 232.
I'm trying to Google that.
All of these things I know so well. The Trade Act of 1974, Sections 122, 201, 301. And the Tariff
Hey,
Act
Erica.
of 1930, Section 330.
Hey, if I miss you, all about the
But it's a little bit longer
Benjamins.
process.
You
I
probably
thought
wearing
it's been
panties
simple,
under that diaper.
but they didn't let us do that. I
Big,
would like to
them
thank
granny panties.
Justice Kavanaugh for frankly, his genius and
It's just,
his great ability. Very proud of.
who you
Attaboy.
proud of?
In actuality, while I am sure that they did not mean to do so, the Supreme Court's decision today made a president's ability to both regulate trade and impose tariffs more powerful and more crystal clear rather than less. I don't think they meant that. I'm sure they didn't.
Well, then why you mad? If it's all that good and they gave you a way out, why you mad?
It's terrible. Made a president's ability to both regulate trade and impose tariffs more powerful and more crystal clear rather than less. I don't think they meant that. I'm sure they didn't. It's terrible.
Well, then why is it terrible? If it's better than, why is it terrible? If they made a mistake and put you in a better position, then why is it terrible? Oh, you know it ain't. Oh, they trying to humor.
The Supreme Court's decision today made a president's ability to.
Oh, you know it's a lie. You know it's a lie, and the truth ain't in none of what you saying. You trying to feed us that bullshit, but in your heart of heart, you know it is a lie. You need that money. And and you need it right now. He lying, gas pack. Hey, Reflections with Kimberly. He mad. Turn to your neighbor. Turn to your neighbor and say, he mad. Him big mad. He mad. Drummer hit the drums. Boom boom. Real mad. He mad. Boom boom.
To both regulate trade and impose tariffs, more powerful and more crystal clear rather than less. I don't think they meant that. I'm sure they didn't. It's terrible.
It's terrible.
And to think that the Democrats who oppose this only because they want to go the opposite way.
I thought it was
Like
good.
to pack the
I
court.
thought we
They want
gave
to
you
put on
power.
They want to pack the court, pack the Supreme Court. Maybe they should do
He
it.
said the
Maybe it
Democrats.
would be better off if they did it. They want to pack the
Now,
court.
why you blaming the Democrats? I thought the Supreme Judge said the answer is no. I can't get over him, y'all.
Court. They want to do anything to hurt our country. There will no longer be any. Want to pack the court, pack the Supreme Court. Maybe they should do it. Maybe it would be better off if they did it. They want to pack the court. They want to do anything to hurt our country.
You hurt our country messing with those kids. You hurt our country graping, stealing, robbing, strong arming, drinking these kids in people's blood, sodomizing. Oh, we don't want to talk about hurting this country. You are a disgrace, sir. And I am being respectful calling you sir. You are a disgrace. And you need to make it right. You need the Lord. And I'm just gonna go and put it out there like that. I don't even want to laugh about it no more. You need the Lord. You need to ask the God to to give you a whole new heart. You need a whole heart transplant. This is some of the worst crap I have ever heard of in my life. And you have the nerve to be mad because you cannot steal from this country and line your pockets. This is a prime example of why you should not play with the devil. Now, I'm laughing at you, but I need for you to ask God to come in and clean you up, restore you, because this is a whole different type of evil I ain't never heard of or seen. I ain't gonna say I ain't heard of, but know that it is going on in this country right now today, in the world. You're some type of disgrace.
There will no longer be any doubt, and the income coming in and the protection of our companies and country will actually increase because of this decision.
No, it won't. Stop lying.
I don't think the court meant that, but it's the way it is. Based on long-standing law and hundreds of victories, and even, as I was pointed out before, even thousands of victories over the years, to the contrary, the Supreme Court did not overrule tariffs. They merely overruled a particular use of.
Yeah, the misuse. Tariffs have been in place long before you, sir. That's not what was up for them to make a judgment of. Yo, tariffs supposed to be there. But you just saying I'm gonna hit you with 100%. Just because somebody tell you no. No, it's going back to the right place in order. It's going back to the way it's supposed to be. And it's stopping you from abusing it. You abuse everything and everybody. No. You are out of order. And I'm
IEPA tariffs. And essentially it's used to get a fee. I can do anything I want with IEPA. Anything. I just can't charge anybody for
You
it.
cannot make a dime.
I can license, I just can't charge them. It's ridiculous, but it's okay because we have other ways, numerous other ways.
He just have a problem knowing that he can't make no money off of something. Your whole reasoning for coming back was to steal and prepare Israel. Stolen land. You like that pro-Israel stuff because of it's stealing, it's conquering, it's control. And you had I can't wait. I mean, I cannot wait till I get in on why you trying to erase Black history. I can't wait. You know, you do know though. You do know deep down in your heart that when you erasing Black history, you erasing yourself deep down on the inside. I think you hate knowing that we are superior. I really do, sir. I think I done figured it out. Donita, I done figured out why you trying and why was the flag not raised half staff for Jesse Jackson, but it was for Charlie Kirk? Oh, you don't want to talk about that? You don't want to talk about that? Oh, okay. I wasn't supposed to ask you that. Ain't nobody supposed to ask you that. Huh? It's Black History Month. Jesse Jackson passed away. And we ain't getting no special tribute. We ain't getting no moment of silence. We don't get nothing. You want to yank off stuff on the wall, monuments and feeling, because it was slavery. Slavery, that didn't really happen. That ain't true. Then why you grabbing people, putting them on planes, taking them to foreign countries for free labor then? I mean, huh? Ain't that the same thing? Taking them, grabbing people, taking them. Oh, it ain't the same because it ain't on a ship. Oh, it's a military plane. So it ain't the same. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, so, but it's torture though, right? When them people going over there, it's like concentration camp, so it's like torture, right? Them folk gonna do in and everything to them, right? People, mama's gonna be separated from their kids, right? Oh, so it's okay if it's slavery. You just don't want for the Black folk to be. You don't want Black folk. Oh, so it's about the. Oh, okay. So what y'all doing right now is okay. It's okay. But you want to erase what happened with our ancestors. Oh, you didn't know we looked at it like that? Oh, it's just me right now. I'm the only one that's saying it like that. Oh, okay. But that is the same, right? It's still slavery. What? Oh, that's what making America great again is. It's slavery. Free labor. Building that new Gaza. So you can put them brothels, them Trump brothels, like your grandpappy taught you. Y'all can be a part of building a new country. Like Christopher Columbus did. He found a country that was already there. They just strong armed it and said they did it. Huh? Is that what we know? But we ain't supposed to look at it like that. And we damn sure ain't supposed to say it out loud. Oh, that's why he didn't get a half staff. Cause he put that said loud and said, cause you don't like loud, do you? I heard you before saying focus loud. When you was going off on the female journalists, you say they loud. So I thought I'd be loud with you too. Yeah, but I paid attention to you today. You know, while you was being ugly. I'm not talking to you. I didn't choose you. You know, all that crazy stuff. You need a heart transplant, I'm telling you. But when it came to the dudes, you answer, you know, you got all polite, no real aggression, and you told them those were good questions. So you like men. You like men. You, Les Wexner, Epstein, y'all need to come on out the closet. Because you like men. You nicer to men than you are to females. I don't know what's that about. I don't know if it's a mama thing. And you know, I will talk about a mama now. So I'm a move on. Y'all hit the like button because, baby, Auntie Fee, do, baby. Yeah, Starlight. I will talk about a mama, wanna? Because I think that's how you raise. Your nurture comes from your mama, and a lot of times what you lack and how you feel about females is how you felt about your mama. So, but I'm gonna leave you alone because I know your feelings is hurt right about now. Can I get y'all to hit the like button, please? Double tap. About that body language, yeah. Yeah, I need for you to let Savannah Guthrie mama bring her out of that them detention centers. Yeah. You know, blindfold her, you know, go around some corners, go the long way. You know, let her out at a convenience store. Leave her unharmed, untouched, untampered with. Let her mama go. It is not her fault that God is saying it's time to expose your dirty deeds. That young lady was doing her job. She gave the victims a place to tell their story. And just as soon as her old interviews went viral, the same day those Epstein files were released, in less than 24 hours, her mother was removed from the comfort of her home. And you asked for Bitcoins. Let that girl mama go. It is not her fault. At some point, you're going to have to take ownership. of your dirty deeds. Auntie Fee ain't gonna play with you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna tell you what God loves. And I don't know if you know anything about that, but God love the truth. I'm gonna tell you what God love. He love the truth, baby. Yeah. Let that girl mama go. And you need to have a come to Jesus moment. I don't know if you can get down on your knees or not, but you need to fall on your face. You need to fall on your face.
I can do anything I want with AIPA. Anything. I just can't charge anybody for it. I can license, I just can't charge them. It's ridiculous, but it's okay because we have other ways, numerous other ways. The ability to block.
Still trying to find a way to get over. Well, how can I get this money? Lord.
Restrict, license, or impose any other condition on a foreign country's ability to conduct trade with the United States under AIPA has been fully confirmed by this decision. So now there's no doubt, because, you know, there were a lot of questions about tariffs because no president was smart enough to use them to protect our country from those countries and businesses that were ripping us off. You took a look at the deficits that we had with some of these countries. It was disgraceful what they got away with for many, many decades. But now we know, because this decision affirms all those things that some people weren't sure about. In order to protect, and it says so, in order to protect our country, a president can actually charge more tariffs than I was charging in the past period.
What harm? I mean, protect us from what? What protection? What we need protection for? We need protection from you. Newsflash. We need protection from you. You are the threat. Nobody ain't tell you that before? See, that's the problem. Ain't nobody ever told you the truth. Yeah, we need protection from you, not the tariffs. Right now, not the other countries. You messing up things with the foreign countries that's our partners. Because you all in bed with Bibi Netanyahu in Israel and with that Miriam woman. But carry on. No, we need protection from you. Our kids need protection from you. You're the wolf. You're the stranger danger. You, sir. Yeah.
Of a year under the various tariffs authorities, so we can use other of the statutes,
ways to go around the Supreme
other
Court.
of the tariff authorities, which have also been confirmed.
At this point, I hope none of them Supreme Court judges, something don't happen to them, but they home. We do know he will blow up a home, a judge's home. Well, yeah, that lady in the Carolinas told him no, her house went up.
And are fully allowed.
I almost said I can't charge split. Right.
All national security tariffs under Section 232 and existing Section 301 tariffs. They're existing. They're there.
Yeah, he think he's the boss of the world.
Remain in place, fully in place, and in full force and effect. Today I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122 over and above.
He gotta show us he can do it.
And we're also initiating several Section 301 and other investigations to
Nobody
protect
didn't
our
say
country
he could do. He just got to do it the right way.
Practices of other countries and companies. Thank you for your attention to this matter, and I say quite simply, which I've said for a long time, make America great again. And interestingly, we've already made it great, so I don't have to use that, but I don't think we'll ever give up on MAGA. MAGA is always going to be with us. If you have a few questions, you can let us know. But just to end, so we're going forward, we will be able to take in more money, and there'll no longer be doubt, because there was always doubt. I know the people that brought the lawsuit, and they're sleazebags, major sleazebags, but I know them.
But I thought you could still do it. Why is he still mad?
They were sending things into our country, and the people representing them knew full well, but they were sending things into our country, and they were beneficial to other countries, but very, very bad for us.
But yeah, you wanted to be beneficial to you, though.
So we have we have a totally firm decision now, and I don't think the court meant it, because the court doesn't show great spirit toward our country, in my opinion. A lot of bad decisions, but there are usually ways around it. This is something we could have done, as Justice Kavanaugh said, we could have done this originally, but we're doing it now, and the numbers could be far greater than the hundreds of billions we've already taken in.
What can disqualify you from getting a life insurance policy? With us, nothing. If you're age 45 to 85, we help cover you with no medical exam.
Oh, I thought he was going to take.
Is having a meltdown after the Supreme Court struck down his tariffs against the world. Also, a horrible GDP readout for the fourth quarter, and inflation is coming in hotter than expected. Donald Trump was holding a presser earlier this morning with governors who were at the White House. Donald Trump then sent the press out. He kicked the press out during this press conference and said, bye-bye, time to get out, as he continued to have this meltdown. Let me show you what took place moments ago. Let's play this clip.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much. And I guess we're going to be asking the press to leave. That way we're going to talk very candidly. And take questions, I think, at the end of what it's supposed to be.
They gotta leave.
What about questions? Sir, you can do whatever
Thank you,
want.
Rob.
I don't know if she says that to other people that she's represented over the years, but thank you very much for being here. It's a great honor. And the media, thank you. You can leave now.
President Trump at breakfast with the governors, you heard him there saying that he's going to deliver some remarks and then take questions from the room, not from the media, and then asking the media to leave. So
now, we know from people who were inside the room, Donald Trump then started cursing after kicking the press out. Cursing? He said, "These fucking courts." I don't like to curse. I'm just giving you the receipts of what actually happened. These effing courts. These effing courts is what he said over and over again. CNN got the scoop there of what went down. Let's just play this clip of what happened inside this governor's meeting in the White House after Donald Trump learned that the Supreme Court struck down his tariffs against the world. He was melting down, apparently. He was sweating. His face was red. And he just started cursing, almost like he was going to cry. I heard it was incredibly weird. CNN has the scoop as well. Let's play this clip.
About this. Yeah, Pamela, we still have no official reaction from the White House or President Trump. We are waiting. I am told that they are meeting, discussing how they are going to respond. But we have learned more about what happened in the room when President Trump was with those governors and he learned of the Supreme Court decision. Apparently, the breakfast had been going well. They were working together. And then President Trump became enraged. He started ranting about the decision, not only calling it a disgrace, but started attacking the courts, at one point saying, "These effing courts," but using the actual language there. We know that President Trump does use expletives on quite often when he is enraged in particular. Now, this, of course, comes as this tariff policy. This could not be a bigger decision for President Trump. This could not be a bigger loss for President Trump. Not only is so much of his economic agenda based on these tariffs, so much of his foreign policy is based on these tariffs. He has used these tariffs as leverage in almost every meeting that he has had around the world. He has touted them as the most most important part of the economic agenda. So clearly a huge loss, and he recognizes that today. Pamela?
All right, Kristen Home.
Now, earlier this morning, Donald Trump released the GDP data before it was officially released. It's, again, unlawful to leak that out. But Donald Trump posted this before the Supreme Court made the ruling striking down his tariffs against the world. Trump posted, the Democrat shutdown cost the USA at least 2 points in GDP. That's why they are doing it in mini form again. No shutdowns. Also, lower interest rates. Too late, Powell is the worst. President DJT, again, ranting and raving like a lunatic this morning. And the Supreme Court said, you don't have the power under this 1977 law, IEPA, to impose tariffs against the world. That belongs to Congress. Article 1, Section 8, the power of taxation. It's the power of Congress. And they did not in this statute called IEPA, which talks about emergency powers to regulate imports and exports. It doesn't even mention the word tariffs in IEPA. They didn't give you this power to tariff the world by you declaring unilaterally that there's a drug war emergency against Canada and Mexico, or that trade deficits, by the way, which are increasing right now since Donald Trump imposed tariffs against the world, not decreasing, they're increasing, but saying that that constitutes an emergency, and then you're going to say you can tariff the world. The Supreme Court in a 6-3 decision said absolutely no way. Go and you can watch the full analysis that Michael Popak and I did for the video we dropped on our YouTube channel before this. Oh, by the way, while I got you here, we are so close to 6 million subscribers. Can we hit 6 million subscribers today? You may think you're subscribed to this YouTube channel, but you may not actually be subscribed. Double check and hit subscribe right now. Also, let's talk about that GDP falling below expectations. Fourth quarter GDP below expectations came in at 1.4% versus the 3% expected, and Trump regime officials were telling us that it may even come in as high as 5%, but it came in at 1.4%. Very, very disappointing indeed. Also, inflation as measured by PCE, which is really a consumer index, consumer goods, and how inflation's affecting consumers, came in hotter than expected, 2.9% versus 2.8%, and core PCE came in at 3% versus 2.9%, which was the expected. So now, after this Supreme Court ruling, Trump and his regime have to now pay back close to $200 billion, somewhere between $175 billion and $200 billion in tariffs that they took from companies in the United States. It was never paid by countries abroad. It was always incurred. It's a tax on Americans, and companies here are passed on to the consumers. The consumers likely won't see any relief from the prices going up on their goods, but the companies that had to increase the prices, they're now going to go to Commerce and Treasury and say, give us our money back. And now it's going to be total chaos in the Trump regime as they've got to pay back the money they unlawfully stole. Who would have thought that a felon like Donald Trump, a sexual abuser like Donald Trump, a fraud like Donald Trump would go and steal money unlawfully? Who could have predicted that one right there? Monica Crowley, a former Fox host who Donald Trump made an ambassador of protocol, kind of like a spokesperson at the White House, she issued the following statement: President Trump has plenty of tools in the tariff toolbox. Don't be a panickin'. Trust Trump. What a weird criminal cult these people are, who continue to cover up the Epstein files. And don't think for a second that on the Midas Touch Network we're going to forget the fact that the Epstein class cabal resides in the White House, and they're currently covering up a child sex trafficking ring by also not producing 50 terabytes or so of documents, millions of documents that they're still not disclosing them. That's one of the reasons why we're also leading the boycott against the Trump State of the Union. The People's State of the Union will be right here on the Midas Touch Network. We have dozens of members of Congress and senators who will be speaking and not showing up to the State of the Union, but they'll be here with the Midas Touch Network. So What were other Trump regime officials? You had Kevin Hassett, Donald Trump's national economic advisor, blaming Democrats for the 1.4% GDP growth. These guys can take no accountability. It was the Democrats' fault. It's Biden's fault. It's this, it's that, it's well.
Everybody
Y'all are in
up
charge.
there.
Y'all are in charge. Act like freaking
Hey,
leaders for
and
once.
I'm
You know what?
sorry,
Maybe
y'all.
just act like grown-ups.
Did he say some good stuff? I had to step away. I had to give me something to eat. Thank you, Monty. And for the bronze medal, what else I get? Hold on, y'all. Oh, I got 2 bronze medals. What a disgrace. I'm gonna have to back it up a little bit. Oh yeah, him mad. Him mad. Now y'all, if I be complaining about my leg, feel like it's swollen, y'all know that I done ate something I wasn't supposed to be eating. I'm just gonna tell you now. But yeah. They excuse you yeah, but I need for y'all to get the lights up. I'm happy knowing that he got told to no, but you know, I don't know if I'm that happy that y'all ain't hit the like button and I'm an hour and 20 minutes in. No cheese. No cheese. But I did get some it's Friday. It's Friday and I got some fries. Oh, y'all can't see them. Oh, okay. And some shrimp and fish. I'm sorry, can I back this up a little bit? Let's go.
And Trump regime officials were telling us that it may even come in as high as 5%, but it came in at 1.4%. Very, very disappointing indeed.
I don't know what that
The
is.
power of taxation. It's the power of Congress. And they did not in this statute called IEPA, which talks about emergency powers to regulate imports and exports. It doesn't even mention the word tariffs in IEPA. They didn't give you this power to tariff the world by you declaring unilaterally that there's a drug war emergency against Canada and Mexico, or that trade deficits, by the way, which are increasing right now since Donald Trump imposed tariffs against the world, not decreasing, they're increasing, but saying that that constitutes an emergency, and then you're going to say you can tariff the world. The Supreme Court in a 6-3 decision said absolutely no way. Go and you can watch the full analysis that Michael Popak and I did. It's the video we dropped on our YouTube channel before this. Oh, by the way, while I got you here, we are so close to 6 million subscribers. Can we hit 6 million subscribers today? You may think you're subscribed to this YouTube channel, but you may not actually be subscribed. Double check and hit subscribe right now. Also, let's talk about that GDP falling below expectations. Fourth quarter GDP below expectations came in at 1.4% versus the 3% expected, and Trump regime officials were telling us that it may even come in as high as 5%, but it came in at 1.4%. Very, very disappointing indeed. Also,
he's below.
Inflation,
he's the worst
as measured
president
by PCE,
ever.
which is really a consumer index, consumer goods, and how inflation's affecting consumers, came in hotter than expected, 2.9% versus 2.8%, and core PCE came in at 3% versus 2.9%.
Because China and Russia, whoever.
So now, after this Supreme
Court
Court
get what they need, Trump
and his regime have to now pay back close to $200 billion, somewhere between $175 billion and $200 billion in tariffs that they took from companies in the United States. It was never paid by countries abroad. It was always incurred. It's a tax on Americans, and companies here are passed on to the consumers. The consumers likely won't see any relief from the prices going up on their goods, but the companies that had to increase the prices, they're now going to go to Commerce and Treasury and say, give us our money back. And now it's going to be total chaos in the Trump regime as they've got to pay back the money they unlawfully stole. Who would have thought that a felon like Donald Trump a sexual abuser like Donald Trump, a fraud like Donald Trump would go and steal money unlawfully. Who could have predicted that one right there? Monica
awesome.
Crowley, a former Fox host who Donald
Did
Trump
you hit
made
the
an
like button?
ambassador of protocol, kind of like a spokesperson
That
at the
blind
White
lady?
House. She issued the following statement. President Trump has plenty of tools in the tariff toolbox. Don't be a panicking. Trust Trump. What a
And
weird
he continued to lie about the economy.
criminal
Absolutely.
cult
He said it's
these
the
people
best.
are, who
It's the
continue to
best
cover
it
up
has
the
ever
Epstein
been.
files. And
Ever.
don't think for a second that on the Midas Touch Network we're going to forget the fact that the Epstein class cabal
I be trying
resides
to
in the
check
White
my
House, and they're
401k
currently
to
covering
see
up a child sex trafficking ring
all
by
this money
also
he
not
said I've been
producing
making.
50 terabytes or so of
Mine ain't
documents,
went up yet.
millions of documents that they're still not disclosing them. That's
Money
one of
that
the
he
reasons why
stole.
we're
Give it
also
back.
leading the boycott against the Trump State of the Union. The People's State of the Union will be right here
Give
on the
it
Midas
back.
Touch Network. We have dozens of members of Congress and senators who will be speaking and not showing up to the State of the Union, but they'll be here with the Midas Touch Network. So,
Give
what were
all
other
that
Trump
money you've
regime
been stealing
officials?
back.
You had Kevin Hassett, Donald Trump's national economic advisor, blaming Democrats for the 1.4% GDP growth. These guys can take no accountability. It was the Democrats' fault. It's Biden's fault. It's this, it's that, it's wah. Y'all are in charge. Y'all are in charge. Act like freaking leaders for once. You know what? Maybe just act like grown-ups, because it will be major progress for you to simply act like adults. You know,
Baby.
frankly, children behave better than all of y'all. Here, play this clip of
Absolutely.
Hassett.
I cook a lot of breakfast skillets, but I also
Children
like to
act
support my body
better.
alongside it with dose for cholesterol. Cold weather means one thing around here, a massive breakfast
Even the
steak,
bad
sausage.
kids.
GDP up only 1.4% on an annual basis, fourth quarter. That's not what President Trump wants to see, is it?
Well, you know, the Democrat shutdown took about 2% off the number, according to the Council of Economic Advisors. So if you're really thinking about, like, what trajectory is the economy on right now, it's way north of 3. And if you look at the average of the 3 quarters since President Trump took office, you know, abstracting from the first quarter when it was, you know, mostly Joe Biden's quarter, then we're looking at growth of 3.2% on average over the year. And so I think if you add back in the government shutdown number, which will bounce back at the first quarter,
Joe Biden,
I think
Lord.
you could say that Trump's economy is running pretty close at 3%.
Okay, at the top, well, I just want to talk about it.
This episode of the Midas Touch podcast is brought to you by Wild Grain. Wild Grain is the first bake from frozen subscription.
Now, I know I stepped away. I'm going to pause so y'all can get the likes up. I need for y'all to hit the like button. Please, double tap the face of your phone. If that's how you're listening in on this great denial, the rejection that he needed. Because he was stealing. He was stealing. He been stealing. They done stole for kids. And now they were stealing from us. And they've been told no. I hope this is the beginning. Why he gonna sit up there and tell, y'all get the, only one person has hit the like button. So I'm assuming y'all just want to hear me talk. I mean, after what we saw with former Prince Andrew yesterday, you would think that you would be wanting to get yourself together, but you don't think nobody gonna touch you because you think everybody's scared of you. Okay, I don't know what to tell you. Only 2 people have hit the like button, so now it's only 4. Yeah. Ain't nobody scared of you.
Then Hassett tries to spin the hotter than expected inflation as saying, yeah, something about Joe Biden. Joe Biden's fault. Here, play this clip.
Just want to talk about inflation. The PCE, that picked up a little bit. That's not a great sign, is it?
Well, I mean, it's just 1 month. The consumer price index is headed right back towards the target. If we look at the details, there are a heck of a lot of things that are growing in the ones now. One of the things that happens, Stu, when you've got runaway inflation like we had in the Biden years, is kind of the price of everything is going up. And what we're seeing now is that there's a whole bunch of variation in what's going up and what's going down. There are a whole bunch of things below the target. And that's exactly what you see as the Fed reaches its target.
At the top of the hour, the Supreme
Next state regime media asks
but he
Kevin
done
Hassett
pocket
about,
trillions.
what do you say to the economists? You claim that the economists who said that most of the tariffs are being passed on to consumers, you said that the economists who prepared that report from the New York Federal Reserve, these professional economists who wrote a study with data and detail and evidence showing that tariffs are passed on to consumers, which we all know they are, you said they deserve to be disciplined? What do you mean by that? Play this clip.
Good. I got to go to this New York Fed study. This is about tariffs.
Sure.
You know where I'm going here. The study said 86% of the tariff burden falls on American businesses and American consumers. 86% falls on us. You say the economists who came up with the study should be disciplined. What's your issue with the study?
Yeah, I probably got a little emotional when I said that.
What you emotional for?
The people who wrote the study feel like I personally attacked them. That was
Thank
certainly
you,
not my
the blind
intent.
lady.
The bottom line is that the Federal Reserve itself needs to have a policy where the extreme gravitas of the Fed should be used to talk about monetary policy and not to go willy-nilly into every single political topic if they want to preserve their political independence.
And by the way, don't we all remember when Howard Lutnick said that the GDP in Q4 would be gangbusters? Remember, he said, we own it in Q4. It's gangbusters. It's ours. We own it. Okay, well, you own it. But now...
The Howard Lutnick that said that Jeffrey Epstein was disgusting and he would never interact with him, do business with him, none of that. But he not only did, his wife and kids was at the island. The dreadful, not kid friendly. I mean, was you sacrificing your kids? I mean, that same Lutnick, not Lutnick, yeah, him. Oh, really? Y'all are a bunch of hypocritical men and women. I ain't gonna just put it on the men, majority men. You took your wife and kids. How disrespectful. You wanted that massage, didn't you? Talking about cheating in the next room. Shit.
It's the Democrats' fault. Now it's... Anyway, here's the montage that our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski...
And we don't want to talk about some of the pictures that done came out with the former Andrew. I see why your brother's saying he gonna work with the laws. Here, there, everywhere. Toddler, baby, sitting, the baby, you had to crawl. You had to crawl to this child. You on your knees like you playing goo goo gaga goo goo goo. Who I'm talking about? Yeah, the one that got arrested yesterday. He on his knees, crawling, while a baby was playing with a little ball. That one. Scared somebody gonna see his ass. You better tell on everybody. You better tell on everybody.
Play this
and
clip.
Don't think Auntie Fee ain't forgot about that. What is it? It is it's called something different over there, where they have these gangs of trafficking. I ain't forgot. And I said you were probably involved in it.
It announces in the fourth quarter of 2025, this economy is going to be humming.
Okay.
Look for the second quarter of 2026 to be amazing as all this money. Okay, the Donald Trump economy. We own the economy in the fourth quarter. We start to get, we get shovels in the ground. I would say the first quarter of next year will be the best quarter. Job after job after factory They're coming, and they're coming now. So I would say 1 year from today, you are going to see job numbers in the second half of next year that are going to blow
Said the man
you
who
away. And I would
called
say
Epstein
the first
disgusting
quarter of
but took
next year
his
will be
wife
the best quarter
to
for
the
the
island
golden
and
age of
kids.
America. It's coming now. You feel it now.
What's going on?
So the economy that Donald Trump owns starts at the end of this year. You can't think of the employment. You look at next year's employment, it is going to explode. All these factories.
Then you had Maria Bartiromo, who claimed that she didn't even believe the GDP numbers. I'm skeptical that these are the numbers. Trump said it was coming in so hot.
You
He
said, oh,
said
this
we've
idiot.
never been hotter before. So if Trump said we've never been hotter before, how you're telling me that Donald Trump lies? Yes, Maria Bartiromo. We're telling you that the guy, the sexual predator, the felon, the fraud, the bankrupter of most of his businesses in life, the demented individual who goes on stage and starts rambling and not completing full sentences. Yeah. The guy who's covering up the Epstein files,
Right.
the guy who says he's been vindicated in there. Yeah, that
Sick
guy.
in the head.
Not a good guy, Bartiromo. Not a good guy, Bartiromo. Here, play this clip of her.
I mean, I'm skeptical too because you had a close to 5% number just a few months ago, and now you're talking about 1.4%. You know, markets are on the move. The Dow is down 115, but if you have a slower economy and you have, wouldn't that indicate that the Fed would want to lower interest rates? Although the PCE being hotter than expected, perhaps it changes the Fed's directory. What does this say to the Fed in terms of rate cuts, Jason?
It's a great question, and of course there's going to be new leadership, and I think again there's going to be more, not to get too technical about this, but there may be more of a focus on the balance sheet rather than rates, and there's of course a connection, but it's not perfect connection, and I think it's well in time that we do that. That I think we should lower rates, but also maybe tighten up the balance sheet a bit too.
Right, and that's something Scott Bessent has.
And then finally we have Neil Katyal, along with his co-counsel, who were responsible for arguing this case in the Supreme Court. Here's their statement. Let's play it.
Neil Katyal joining us. He argued against the tariffs in this case before the Supreme Court, and lead plaintiff Sarah Albrecht. Neil, thank you so much for joining us. Sarah, thank you for joining us. Let me get both of your reactions. Neil, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so we have a couple of statements. We won't be able to take questions. These are our first remarks. We've just seen the decision, just heard it in the Supreme Court. But today, the United States Supreme Court stood up for the rule of law, stood up for
the rule of law
everywhere. Its message was simple. Presidents are powerful, but our Constitution is more powerful still. In America, only Congress, the Chief Justice, writing for 6 justices, said only Congress can impose taxes on the American people, and that's what tariffs are. Tariffs are taxes. I am so grateful for the leadership of the Liberty Justice Center, and in particular,
but I can't charge them nothing, not even a dollar.
Sarah Albrecht, who masterminded this case, who took this case when so many others were afraid to stand up for the rule of law, who was dauntless in our defense of the Constitution. I'm also grateful to the 5 small business owners who stood up against these unjust, unconstitutional taxes. By taking a stand, they have paved the way for relief to tens of thousands of American businesses and hundreds of millions of Americans across the country.
Folks, there you have it. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers today.
Baby.
That's the challenge. You may think you're...
Thank you, Ben. Appreciate you, sir. I know you know that. Hold on, let's see what else I got for us. Let's see what else I got for us. I want to hear about this. Not shopping. I ain't trying to go shopping. Let me hear this.
The fact that she's even
The Trump administration is so corrupt, so scandalized around sexual abuse that even its labor secretary, Lori Chavez DeRemer, who's embroiled in her own investigation concerning
The
whether she
females
took
are getting down
subordinates to a strip club and is having an affair and drank on the job. Her own husband, according to new reporting, is the subject of a criminal investigation about whether he was a predator and sexually abused and assaulted
The females'
two staff
husbands
members
are
caught on a security camera. It's being investigated by a combination of the Inspector General.
What? The female husband. Lord, y'all please hit the like button.
That assaulted two staff members caught on a security camera. It's being investigated by a combination of the inspector. Her own husband, according to new reporting, is the subject of a criminal investigation about whether he was a predator and sexually abused and assaulted two staff members caught on a security camera. It's being investigated by a combination of the Inspector General related to the Labor Department and the Metropolitan Police, the Metro Police, and their sex assault unit. This is our labor secretary under Donald Trump. Does it surprise you that the organization, it rots from the top? The fact that she's even still in office at the time of this recording tells you everything you need to know. The rest of the world is cleaning house over the Epstein scandal. The ex-Norway prime minister is on criminally indicted. The former Prince Andrew arrested. 10 to 12 people have lost their jobs in academia, in law, in business, in government around the country. And Donald Trump keeps this person as his labor secretary. I'm Michael Popak. Good morning. Welcome to Legal AF. Lori Chavez DeRemer.
Shout out to
She's
Mike.
only been in the job for a year. She's the one that's supposed to be reporting labor statistics, things about our economy. But it sounds like ever since she left Congress and joined Donald Trump, she took her cues from her boss and is busy chasing after people in her office, joined by her husband.
Living it
It's
up.
some sort of perverse playground for the immoral at the Department of Labor, of all things.
Wow.
The reporting is that the husband, Sean DeRemer, who's an anesthesiologist, by the way, not that matters particularly, has been banned from the Department of Labor grounds because of the ongoing investigation, which has now been made public. You got the Met Police sex assault unit investigating, and it all started when the Inspector General, even Donald Trump's own Inspector General, and let's be honest, there's no more conflicted, potentially unethical Inspector General than one that still works for Donald Trump. Even they took a look at Lori Chavez DeRemer and the allegations against her of having an affair, of spending taxpayer dollars.
I ain't never seen them bad like this.
Drinking on, investigating, and it all started when the Inspector General, even Donald Trump's own Inspector General, and let's be honest, there's no more conflicted, potentially unethical Inspector General than one that still works for Donald Trump. Even they took a look at Lori Chavez DeRemer and the allegations against her of having an affair, of spending taxpayer
get jiggy with it. This
for
whole
her sojourns.
Yeah, this is the nasty, freaky
porn, or at least strip clubs
administration
with her subordinates, and they were like, and then they just stumbled into the husband. These two are perfectly matched.
You got to
Every
get down
pot
with it.
has a lid, as my late mother would have said.
A new
What is a
reality
signal,
show.
though? Something deep, scandalous. Yes, it's there's an aspect of it, of a train wreck you can't look away from. But that's not the basis of my reporting.
The nasty.
This has to do with would this
trifling,
ever be tolerated by a
disgusting,
moral, legitimate, ethical administration? The answer is no. If this was fill in the blank, any president other than Donald Trump, she would already be canned. Now look, by the time this goes on the air, she may be canned. There's so much public attention and outrage against this that Donald Trump may have no choice.
But that's their religion.
In the backwash of the
you gotta get down and dirty.
But to can her. But these allegations have been going on for quite some time. Last I looked, this is
how you are rewarded.
The third week in February.
That Zionist
Donald
stuff,
Trump would have been on
you got to
notice
get down and
about
dirty.
these allegations back in December. We may just be learning about it, but the administration has known about it. The Department of Justice and FBI must have known about it. They've gone so far as to ban him from the Department of Labor, the husband. But to Donald Trump, he'll just bring her tighter, bring her closer. How many members of this administration have to be involved with some sort of sex scandal or sex assault scandal? You already have Howard Lutnick,
By the
the
summer,
Commerce Secretary, who lied to the
they
American
will be
people,
having a
who
convention
covered up
and
whatever his
offering
relationship
him
was with Jeffrey
to buy
Epstein,
into
including his
their
visiting his
resort
island for lunch when he said he had nothing to do with them for 7 years. He's still our Commerce Secretary.
where kids are on
The
it.
two major pieces, there's three major pieces of our
And free
economy
labor.
from a monetary, from a fiscal policy standpoint controlled by
Thank
the
you, Ms.
president.
Tom.
The Treasury Department,
I want, baby,
the Commerce Department,
baby.
and the Labor Department. Two of them, Commerce and Labor, are embroiled in some sort of sex abuse scandal connectivity. And Donald Trump continues to think this is okay.
Oh, he love it.
Any other administration
they're going to
would
be
have fired Howard
investors.
Lutnick on the spot
And
for any
if they don't buy
connection,
into it,
especially
then he's
lying to
going
American
to
people.
throw them
Sometimes it's
under the
crime
bus or
and the
remove
cover-up.
him.
Look what the rest of the world is doing. The Norway Prime Minister, boom, indicted. You know, Andrew Windsor Mountbatten, whatever his name is after being the former royal, arrested, you know, for the allegations against him. People have lost major positions in the United States,
Sure
in
have.
academia, in entertainment,
Disney, I think the
in
Disney,
financial services, in the law.
the
Elected
Hyatt
officials
executive.
and people that work in government around the country have all been caught up because of their
Affiliation.
criminality, their perversity in the Epstein scandal. And yet Donald Trump continues to believe that he can skate by because he's got the immunity power given to him by the United States Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Lori Chavez de Reber doesn't have that, and neither does her husband.
And what they're trying to get him on,
It
was
is
before he became the president again.
beyond
And it's going to stick.
ironic that the head of the Department of Labor, who's also responsible for workplace and, you know, employment issues,
Horrible.
employee issues, is abusing her own employees, or at least the allegations are,
Yep.
right? Taking them to strip clubs?
Yep.
Where are we? Are we in the 1980s Wall Street? Is strip clubs? Drinking on the job? And if that wasn't bad enough, and it is, and she should have been canned already.
That's how it used to be a long time
is
ago.
accused of being a predator. They said it was a too long embrace or hug. You know what you call that when you're a predator and it's unwanted? That's called sexual assault.
Yep.
Caught on security camera, which Donald Trump and his higher-ups must have known about going back 2 months. And if we hadn't caught it, the New York Times hadn't caught it, we hadn't reported
got him
on it.
hired.
What do you think the chances are that she would stay in her job? The only way we'll get her out is by bringing attention to it the way we are. This is the same. Think about the last 24 hours. We got a Republican congressperson from Texas whose aide, who was married and having an affair with them, set herself on fire and died.
What?
And now he's scrambling because the husband is accusing him of being immoral and doing improper things while he's running for a second term.
What?
As we have the labor secretary's husband banned from the Department of Labor for sexual assault allegations.
The
having an
what?
affair with them, set herself on fire and died. And now he's scrambling because the husband, we got a Republican congressperson from Texas whose aide, who was married and having an affair with them, set herself on fire and died. And now he's scrambling because the husband is accusing him of being immoral and doing improper things while he's running for a second term. As we have the labor secretary's husband banned from the Department of Labor for sexual assault allegations. As the former prince gets picked up in the UK for his relationship with Epstein.
The world has changed.
You ain't
Donald
never
Trump just
lied.
didn't get the memo. The only way we'll get her out is by bringing attention to it the way we are. This is the same. Think about the last 24 hours. We got a Republican congressperson from Texas whose aide, who was married and having an affair with them, set herself on fire and died. And now he's scrambling because the husband is accusing him of being immoral and doing improper things while he's running for a second term. As we have the labor secretary's husband banned from the Department of Labor for sexual assault allegations. As the former prince gets picked up in the UK for his relationship with Epstein. The world has changed. Donald Trump just didn't get the memo. And we demand that Lori Chavez, remember, be impeached and try to get the 218 votes necessary to impeach her and remove her and pressure Donald Trump to do that. While that member of Congress with the staff member who did self-immolation rather than live with the shame of having an affair with him should be brought to justice as well. We'll continue to follow it all. I'm Michael Popa.
Thank you, Michael. Hold on. Yeah, I need the likes all the way up. I mean, right now, double tap the face of your.
Having an affair with a.
Double tap the face of your screen, or hit those three dots at the top right corner. So we can hear this tea. So we can hear this tea. Lord, it just don't stop with these people, do it. We finna listen to it, Janet. I mean, you see it's up. We finna listen to it. As soon as they get the likes up. Can't stop. I'm coming in like, and thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Come on, y'all. We just need a few more. Hit the like button. Support the platform. I'm giving y'all my lunch. Y'all hear me chewing. Ouch. Ouch. I already know. I can already feel this knee. Lord. I'm going to get to rubbing. Let's hear this mess. Congressman. And we already know that there's some more Congress people that's in the Epstein files that they don't want to talk about. Where my Oliver Oregano? Where's my that they don't want to talk about. This stuff is more gross than I thought. It is horrible. Say that shit. Hey, thank you for the bronze medal. Say that shit. I hope I said it right. Say that shit.
Congressman. That's according to the Express News. Regina Santos Avelas died in September after setting herself on fire. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jonathan Martinez.
I'm Mandy Noel. Melissa Vega.
And we start with breaking news tonight. Public reports this evening say the former aide to Congressman Tony Gonzalez, who took her own life last year, had been having an affair with a congressman. That's according to the Express News. Regina Santos Avelas died in September after setting herself on fire. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jonathan Martinez.
I'm Mandy Noel. Melissa Vega. It's at the live desk with the story.
Well, the Express News reporting tonight, a former staffer in Tony Gonzalez's district office who worked closely with the aide, Regina Santos Avila, says she told him they had an affair in 2024 and that she spiraled into a depression after her husband discovered the relationship. And Congressman Gonzalez abruptly cut her off. The former staffer also reportedly sharing with the Express News a screenshot of a text message from Santos Aviles in which she acknowledged having an affair with our boss. The staffer, who asked not to be named, citing a fear of retaliation, faulted Congressman Gonzalez's office for failing to intervene, saying he having an affair with our boss. The staffer, who asked not to be named, citing a fear of retaliation, faulted Congressman Gonzalez's office for failing to intervene, saying he warned the congressman's district director months before Santos Aviles' death that he was concerned about her well-being. The newspaper also reporting an attorney for Santos Aviles' husband said that her romantic relationship with the congressman was an open secret and that he does not believe it played a role in her death. Authorities also said there was no evidence of foul play in her death. The Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office ruled her death a suicide by self-immolation, meaning that she set herself on fire. Officials on scene back in September reported that she doused herself with gasoline. She was taken to the hospital with severe burns, but she did not survive. And News 4 San Antonio and other media outlets have requested records from the Uvalde Police Department related to the investigation into her death. We were seeking those records not for any graphic photos or videos, but because Santos Aviles was a public official and the questions surrounding her death could have political implications. And for months, several outlets, including the Daily Mail, were circulating rumors of an affair, which Congressman Gonzalez denied at the Texas Tribune Festival back in November, saying that he wanted people to remember Santos Aviles for the work she did in the community. We, of course, will continue to follow this story and let you know what develops. That is the latest from the Light Desk.
For you.
Thanks for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Mandy Noel.
Wow. Wow. I had no idea. Congress. Yes, but we hungry too, but sharing is caring. Oh, okay. I'm trying to show y'all what we're doing now. Fish strips. What else I got left? Shrimp. The fries is gone. What else they finna
An
tell us?
alleged affair, text messages, and calls to resign. New details about a reported relationship between Congressman Tony Gonzalez and a former staffer who took her own life. The staffer is Regina Santos Aviles, who took her own life by setting herself on fire last year. Congressman
like
Gonzalez is now
Cheeto.
accusing his primary opponent of politicizing the allegations. Tonight, News 4 is pressing for answers. We're asking Congressman Gonzalez about the claims against him and the potential political implications. The News 4 I-Team's Jordan Elder joins us with the developments. A former staffer sharing messages with the San Antonio Express News that appear to show Regina Santos Aviles acknowledging a relationship with Congressman Tony Gonzalez. In a response today, Gonzalez says the timing of all of this needs to be taken into account. We've obtained bombshell messages from former Regional District Director Regina Santos Aviles about her boss, Congressman Tony Gonzalez. The San Antonio Express News verifying these texts between a former Gonzalez staffer and Aviles. She says she had an affair with our boss. First responders were called to Aviles' Uvalde home in September, reporting that she doused herself in gasoline. She was rushed to a San Antonio hospital, but later passed away.
What would make her
The Bexar
do
County medical examiner ruling her death a suicide by
if they had a
self-immolation, setting
open
herself on fire.
open
Rumors of an affair had been circulating since her death, but these messages are the first potential documentation. In a statement
then why would
Wednesday,
she
Gonzalez
unalive
pointed
herself
to
if it was
politics.
open?
He
Hey, thank
accuses
you,
his
Monty.
primary challenger, Brandon Herrera, of pushing this story the day early voting started. Quote, "I am not going to engage in these personal smears." Gonzalez and Herrera went head-to-head in the 2024 Republican primary, Gonzalez winning by about 350 votes. As they head into the rematch, Herrera
But
is
I thought
calling
it
on
was
Gonzalez
open.
to resign, saying in a statement he broke House ethics rules and public trust. Other Republicans have joined that call, including State Representative Wes Ferdell, whose House district overlaps with some of Gonzalez's congressional district. In a post, he says Gonzalez shows no remorse. Gonzalez has largely avoided questions about these allegations. These are his first comments since the Texas Tribune Festival in November. There, the congressman called Aviles' death tragic.
You know, my name's on the door, and so I'm not like people throwing rocks
What
at
that
me,
mean?
saying ugly, nasty things. I totally get that.
My
But
name on the
rumors
door.
are completely untruthful.
A federal source told us the former staffer who shared the messages previously worked in Gonzalez's office, but is now involved with Democratic campaigns in California. According to the Express News, the former staffer said he is not being paid and has not been offered money by Gonzalez's opponents. We reached out to the Herrera campaign for comment. Gonzalez's office has not responded to follow-up questions from our team. President Trump endorsed Gonzalez for this race back in December. Jordan Elder,
And he ain't
News 4
say
San
nothing about
Antonio.
this being disgusting.
Tonight, political
Disgusting.
opponents call for Congressman Tony Gonzalez to resign as new information emerges about an alleged affair
Disgusting.
with a staffer.
He
Thanks
didn't
for
say they
joining
was
us
disgusting.
Tonight at 10. I'm Mandy Noel. That staffer later took her own life. News 4 San Antonio's Jordan Elder spoke with the attorneys for the staffer's husband, who says the family, not the congressman, are the victims.
Constant denials are what finally spurred Adrian to say, "I am tired of Tony calling my wife a liar, calling me a liar, calling his staffer a liar, when the only liar around is Tony Gonzalez."
Strong words from attorney Bobby Barrera about how Congressman Tony Gonzalez is
Spurred Adrian to say, "I am tired of Tony calling my wife a liar, calling me a liar, calling his staffer a liar, when the only liar around is Tony Gonzalez."
Strong words from attorney Bobby Barrera about how Congressman Tony Gonzalez is handling the recent headlines. Text messages released by a former staffer show Regina Santos Aviles acknowledging an affair with her former boss. And Barrera says that's not the only evidence.
We have all the texts.
All of them.
I've seen them, I've read them, and there's nothing that Tony can say.
Did she
that
really
would
set up?
dispute
Was
the
he
text
there when it
that was
happened?
sent back and forth with Regina, clearly being related to a sexual affair.
Santos Aviles died in September after setting herself on fire. Barrera is now representing
I
her
believe that.
husband. He says the marriage issues, her mental health, and her eventual decline all point back to Gonzalez. So when the congressman released this statement Wednesday, pointing
Where
to
was
his
he at when
opponent,
it happened?
Brandon Herrera, saying this was an attempt to score political points, Barrera says it was too much for Regina's husband.
He has to live with this issue now that his wife's death has become a political football between two candidates vying for a political office.
What are the next steps for you and your team as this moves forward?
We're going to explore any potential legal issues, legal remedies, potentially the sexual
And when does she
harassment
have
and workplace
sexual harassment?
after the discovery of this affair.
I wonder
As
was
for the
blackmail
political fallout, the
involved.
San Antonio Express News has pulled their endorsement of Congressman Gonzalez. They were the first to report the staffer's allegations. President Donald Trump endorsed Gonzalez in December, and at this time, it still stands.
This
Jordan Elder,
December?
News 4 San Antonio. How is Adrian doing? Obviously, this is a tough news cycle that I'm sure he's having
Anything
to see
about
a lot of.
sexual SA? He okay with that?
It wasn't Adrian who brought this issue to the public domain. It was a staffer from Tony Gonzalez's office. So Adrian is having to deal with the emotional reality that political fodder is being made of his wife's demise. And so it's clearly troubling for him and his son emotionally.
Oh, wow.
How old is their son now?
I believe he's 7, going on 8.
Hey, Jerry.
What do you know about when this affair
started? Was this something that was widely known about?
The affair was discovered in early June of 2024, and there's evidence that it may have been going on for at least a month, based upon staffers' knowledge of their locations being together at some remote cabin on some river. The affair was discovered in early June, and
San Antonio,
through texts that were observed by
New Brunswick.
Adrian, and so it began there with the conflict between, of course, Adrian and Regina, and then after the discovery, the conflicts became more apparent between Tony and Regina in the workplace.
What was it about those messages that convinced Adrian that this was happening?
Well, when you say the messages were the discovery, the confirmation was Regina's admission. And so when Tony goes public in the domain saying...
Why you say this interview is so uncalled for, Mrs. Tom?
This is a political hack.
Why you say it's uncalled for?
What he's doing is
I think the interview is very necessary. We wouldn't have ever known.
Spirited person that he had an affair with, he's calling
And there's
her a liar.
some patterns.
But certainly, Adrian and Regina would not have split up over innuendo. And this is an admission by Regina that she was having an affair.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He said it was open, so it was not a secret. So why would she set herself on fire? I did hear mental, but was it really? You know, these people are put something on you and say this, that, and the other, and that may not be the case. So the child does not hear about, she set herself on fire. So you don't think the 7-year-old knows that his mama was on fire? You don't think that there should be interviews to try to figure out if there was foul play? That's the husband is saying they were open about the affair, so she didn't do it because she was having an affair, so it had to be something else. I think it's very necessary. I think when people don't say anything or hide it or avoid it, it leaves room for them to get away. Oh no, boo. Oh no. It's all on the news. No, and what we finding out now, everything needs to be put out on the table. If Sasha Riley, and he was military, if Sasha Riley would have told his story long time ago, some kids and adults could have not been violated. No, I don't trust nothing about this cabinet because, and let me say this, in all fairness, anybody, I know people are looking at the dollar bill, but anybody who is sitting up under this administration, knowing the allegations, the reports, the files. I mean, because now it's not just an allegation. It's in the Epstein files. It's documented. Some shape, form, or fashion. It's not a speculation. We're going by what's in the files. And if you are okay with sitting up under his administration, going along with that, that's a problem. That's a character issue. That's morals. So nah, I'd rather know. Yeah, because when it's all said and done, it's going to be a whole lot of people. And if you're up under administration where this is okay, it's actually rewarded because, again, that's a part of their religion. You are rewarded for evil doings. It is opposite of Christ. So you get rewarded for doing this type of stuff. He like it. He like it. Everybody on his staff or in their family could have some form of SA, and he'd be like, oh yeah, So that means you're not going to pass judgment on me. Because we all creeps. We all sick. Oh, Lord. Lord Jesus, please.
Spirited person that he had an affair with, he's calling her a liar. But certainly,
Thank God
Adrian
for
and
us
Regina would
learning
not have
about them
split up
files. You're
over
right.
innuendo. And
It's
this
about to
is
get
an
really
admission by
ugly. You're
Regina that
absolutely
she
right,
was having
Jerry.
an affair with her boss, Tony
Had no
Gonzalez.
earthly idea. I mean, just
Has
the typical person, mine would not have went as far or imagined as big as these files are. It just kind of still reminds me of 4 or 5 years ago when my mind didn't go there initially with Mo 3, but by the time Dolph was on the live and I actually got involved there, I knew that the circles connect. I knew that Donald Trump was going to be at the top of whatever was going on, even with the black people. I knew that he was going to be at the top because I felt like I was thinking Illuminati, sex trafficking was involved. But I had no idea. My mind took me there. My mind knew that a lot of this stuff was connected directly and indirectly. But never will your mind go to the extent of where it is right now, because that's not how you think typically. That's not your mindset. You don't dream about it. You don't think about it. That's just not what they say in your repertoire. It's just not. So the only people that would have imagined this or thought about it are people who have been either violated or are predators. And this is just some of the craziest shit. And to hear Sasha Riley all I can say is God bless him. God, please protect him. Lord, please heal him. Restore him. Make him whole. Make them all whole. We need a healing. We need a healing. This stuff is just unbelievable to me. It's just unbelievable.
And shared with you anything about the nature of those messages between Regina and the congressman?
Well, we've had a forensic download, so I have seen any number of texts and pictures back and forth between them. Adrian is aware of them, but Adrian, because of the emotional impact of reading these things, has not viewed all of these messages with any particular interest other than the acknowledgement that she was having an affair.
Why has Adrian chosen to retain you as this plays out in front of the public eye?
Adrian contacted me in regard to any particular potential litigation issues, any fallout issues resulting from the office place harassment that his wife was enduring. And, but this issue being in the public domain is not Adrian's doing. But I was contacted for the purposes of exploring potential legal remedies on his wife's behalf for the workplace harassment and sexual harassment that she was subjected to.
At this point, do you believe that the allegations of the affair had anything to do with her death when she took her own life last year?
It's clear to me, after a thorough investigation forensically and interviewing witnesses, that the discovery of the affair put into place a series of events that led to her emotional and personal demise, to the degree that being ostracized at work, excluded from the job that she loved, having lost the trust of her husband because of this affair, that all of these things continued to drive her into an emotional despair, which resulted in her engaging in conduct that actually took her own life. The question is, did Tony cause her to kill herself? And it's a very specific question, and I can only tell you that Tony was actively involved in the conduct that caused her to end up hurting herself, not only in manipulating her into an affair, but once the affair was discovered, in the workplace harassment and ostracizing her in the workplace and excluding her from her job.
So, was that blackmail? I mean, I don't know if I like how that sounds. Let me hear that again. I think I heard blackmail. Because can't nobody force you to have no affair.
Not only in manipulating her into an affair, but once the affair was discovered, in the workplace harassment and ostracizing her in the workplace and excluding her from her job. Specific question, and I can only tell you that Tony was actively involved in the conduct that caused her to end up hurting herself, not only in manipulating her into an affair, but once the affair was discovered.
I don't know how you can manipulate somebody into an affair unless you are threatening them or you know, threatening their job, or it sounds kind of blackmailish to me. But how do you manipulate somebody into an affair? And I guess why I'm a little stuck there, because a lot of this whole administration, I mean, this whole cult is built on, or not necessarily built, well, yeah, built on blackmail.
Discovered in the workplace harassment and ostracizing her in the workplace and excluding her from her job. That's why the staff knew exactly what was going on, because of the change in her employment status. So yes, the affair, the discovery of the affair, the workplace harassment, all contributed to her mental decline, which again, the point of inception is the affair with Tony Gonzalez.
Was there a point where the affair ended? Was it called off at any point?
To my knowledge, after the discovery of the affair in June of 2024, I don't have any record of any continued meetings or contacts. And again, that's the point at which Tony began to distance himself from her in public life and in office life, according to his staffers who have already come forward.
What are the next steps for you and your team as this moves forward?
Well, we're going to explore any potential legal issues, legal remedies. The Congressional Accounting Act specifically deals with congressmen and elected officials who have engaged in workplace harassment or sexual harassment, and there are some remedies available through that. But again, we're here today not because of Adrian. We're here today because one of Tony's own staffers could not take any longer his denial of a relationship that everyone at the office knew was a real affair. And so we're going to continue to explore potentially the sexual harassment and workplace harassment after the discovery of this affair.
Is there anything else you think is important for people to know as they watch this situation in the headlines?
Well, I think Adrian wants everyone to know that this is not about Tony Gonzalez's political career. This is conduct that he engaged in, which caused the death of Adrian's wife, their son's mother, and that she should not get lost in this alleged victimization of Tony Gonzalez, because she is the true victim in this case. And Adrian wants people to know that he wants her memory honored, and this is not anything to do with him going after Tony's elected position, because again, we didn't bring this to light. Adrian didn't bring this to light. He's only responding to the media crash because of the allegations made by Tony's own employees. Adrian has known about this affair since June of 2024. You have not seen Adrian go public with one bit of information until the staffer came forward. Adrian's issue is with the constant denial by Tony Gonzalez that he had an affair with Regina. It's bothersome to Adrian that Tony is trying to walk away from a situation that he clearly created, had a clear hand in the death of this young lady, and his constant denials are what finally spurred Adrian to say, I am tired of Tony calling my wife a liar, calling me a liar, calling his staffer a liar, when the only liar around is Tony Gonzalez. And that's why Adrian has come forward, and that's why Adrian has the emotional angst that he does, because he has to live with this issue now that his wife's death has become a political football between two candidates vying for a political office.
Hey guys, this is Senator John Ossoff.
Y'all, let's look at this, what they just... hold on. I need to... okay, so listen. I'm just now seeing this. I have not... hold on. I have not researched it. I'm just now seeing it for the first time. So we're going to look at it together. And we're going to come to our own tea sippers assumption. I guess that's the word I need to say. Lord. I just want y'all to see. Can y'all see? I am taking. Y'all can't see him. My olive oregano. So I can keep the inflammation down. Let's go. For what I just ate that was fried. Lord. Y'all go get y'all some tea. It may be about to get hot in here. Lord, they leaking. Let me say this. They are leaking stuff from those files. I'm telling y'all, somebody got the files. Oh, Lord. Somebody got the files. Repeat after me. Somebody has access to the files. Heartbreaking. Hit the like button. Please do. Like, share, subscribe. Join the membership. Send some gems. Lord, we are about to look at this together. Y'all, somebody need to reach out to... I'm getting concerned about Specs. I'm not sure if he working a lot. Back on a different shift. But please pop out just to let us know you okay. Like in the White House, folks do things that they normally wouldn't do. Yeah, let me hit refresh because I didn't get it. Oh my Lord. Y'all. Hold on. Let me take this down. Let me put this on this one. Hold on. We about to go. Some, yes, Specs, where you at? Yep. Do I need to lean it back or bring it forward? Oh my God. Make this a little bigger. Oh Lord, 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 Lord. Make sure the volume is finna get, we finna go somewhere, y'all. Y'all ready? Hold on, let me reposition myself. It's that good, ATP! Yeah, y'all need to hit the like button. Lord, please, please, please protect us from all harm and danger. Protect us from seen and unseen. Lord, protect us from thy enemy and whatever they plan is. Lord, we ask that you shut it down. Okay. Let's go. I think I need to lean it back so I'm up on my hold it. Let's go. New Epstein Trump leaks could retire all 9-to-5ers by February 24th. Let's go. Let's see this. Is that Trump and Epstein? What's on the briefcase?
Pay attention, guys, because the exchange between Epstein and Trump could make us filthy rich. You see on the briefcase, it says, Dome, remember it because it's going to make you rich. I'll explain.
They talking about rich.
Epstein got rich selling secrets from the U.S. to Israel, which is how he made hundreds of millions of dollars. One of those secrets he sold is the golden...
This is in the Epstein files. And he's saying make us rich. Why would I want to? So he was a part. Let's keep listening. I thought they wasn't cool. So is he still alive? Cause when he was in office before, he was in jail, right? And then he disappeared. And see, whoever you are, you evil-hearted too, unless you playing, because why would you even want to be a part of this mess? Yeah, no. Just to be rich.
Dome project. Listen, because Dome is going to make us lots of money. Golden Dome is essentially a missile defense system being built to defend the U.S. and other allies.
So that was Epstein. Trump met with Epstein in this dome because this is his new cabinet, right? So he's still working. So the money that he's stealing and needing, but it's in the... Yeah, I don't know if I believe this, y'all.
It's because the exchange between Epstein and Trump can make us filthy rich. You see on the briefcase, it says, don't remember it because it's going to make you rich, I'll explain. So apparently
I don't know
Epstein
if I
got
believe that.
rich selling secrets from the U.S. to Israel, which is how he made hundreds of millions of dollars.
Let me hear it.
One of those secrets he sold is the Golden Dome Project. Listen, because Dome is going to make us lots of money. Golden Dome is essentially a missile defense system being built to defend the U.S. and other allies from nuclear missiles and weapons. But further leaked emails between Trump and Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, are talking about the Golden Dome Project. And Larry Fink says that he wants to tokenize the Golden Dome as a military asset and have a currency called Dome. This made me curious, so I checked BlackRock.
So, but why would Epstein file have December 2025? I mean, October of 2025. The Epstein files were older than that. So why would he have, how would they have an email between Trump and Flynn?
About the Golden Dome Project. And Larry Fink says that he wants to tokenize the Golden Dome as a military asset and have a currency called Dome. This made me curious, so I checked BlackRock's crypto holding, and funny enough, they are holding a Solana token called Dome.
Yeah, no, I think this is advertised for people to try to invest in the Dome. I think, because every time I see them do this type of stuff, somebody is checking their site. So I think it's trying to tap into somebody's head, get them to look at it and invest in it like they did that cryptocurrency stuff. Yeah, no, I'm gonna stop that right here. I don't know what else. I might as well. I don't know if I believe that one.
Was able to find the real one.
Yeah, and I don't even want nobody looking at it. And yeah, no, I'm gonna bypass that. No, I ain't going. But I do got some other stuff. Hold on. Yeah, no, that's gonna, somebody broke and investing. That's kind of how they did that cryptocurrency stuff. When it first came out, Steve Bannon pushed hard for the release of the Epstein files. Then he was in them. Yeah. I mean, I don't get that. That's just like that Lutnick guy. You knew you was in there. Why did you even... It didn't make... You just came out of nowhere talking about you went to Epstein's house. Did you forget... Did you forget that you went to the island with your kids? I don't get that. It's just like Trump. Did you forget that you was in the Epstein files? When you started running on your campaign talking about Prince, at that time, the former Prince Andrew, and then and Clinton, and then now you don't want Clinton to talk about outright for everybody to hear about what happened. And then yesterday you was talking about you feel really bad for former Prince Andrew. You brought his name up. You put him in the mix. What do you mean? You did that. I don't understand that. You have no clue what's truly happening. Yeah, but I don't know if I want to watch you right now either. Hold on. Yeah, I don't get that. I don't understand why they bring it up to then turn around when something happens and act like you feel bad. No, you don't. No, you don't. Let me hear this.
That have sent absolute shockwaves through Washington. Lindsey Graham just got caught on a hot mic saying 7 words about Donald Trump that have sent absolute shockwaves through Washington. I don't think he survives this one. 7 words. Picked up by a live microphone inside the Senate chamber and broadcast to millions before anyone could cut the feed. This isn't a rumor from an anonymous staffer or a secondhand account from a political insider. This is a senior Republican senator, one of Trump's most visible allies for nearly a decade, caught on tape expressing what many in the party have apparently been saying behind closed doors. When one of the president's closest defenders in Congress openly questions his political survival on a live microphone, something seismic has shifted in Washington. Hit that subscribe button right now because you won't want to miss any of the videos I release. So, what set off this extraordinary moment? Graham's remark came just hours after the release of a devastating Inspector General report detailing alleged misuse of executive authority in directing federal contracts to entities with direct financial ties to the administration. This isn't just another political controversy or routine partisan fight. This is a sitting president's own allies beginning to crack under the weight of mounting evidence. And believe me, when a senator who has stood shoulder to shoulder with this president through 2 impeachments and 4 indictments suddenly lets slip that he doesn't think the president can survive, you know something enormous has just detonated. Here's the full picture of what's been unfolding. Tensions in Washington have been building for months, fueled by a series of escalating confrontations between the White House and congressional oversight committees. Investigations into federal contracting irregularities began quietly in September of 2025 when the Government Accountability Office flagged over $3 billion in sole source contracts awarded to firms with documented ties to administration officials. But everything escalated on February 14th when the Inspector General's office released a 340-page report to the Senate Judiciary Committee detailing what investigators described as a systematic pattern of steering federal funds for personal enrichment. The report, compiled over 7 months of investigation, documents at least 14 instances where contract awards were allegedly fast-tracked through irregular channels, bypassing standard competitive bidding requirements. Sources familiar with the findings say the evidence includes internal emails, recorded phone calls, and testimony from career procurement officials who raised objections and were subsequently reassigned. This wasn't about policy disagreements or bureaucratic inefficiency. It was about the alleged weaponization of federal spending power for direct personal financial benefit. Smash that like button if this is making sense so far. Here's where it really gets serious. When members of the Senate Judiciary Committee reviewed the full classified annex of the report in a secure facility on February 15th, they recognized immediately that this crossed every line of acceptable conduct. And let's be honest for a moment, senators don't get caught on hot mics questioning their own president's survival over routine controversies. That kind of candid admission happens when someone has seen evidence so damning that the usual talking points simply won't hold anymore. Here's what multiple sources say happened next. On February 15th, the Senate Judiciary Committee convened an emergency closed-door session to review the Inspector General's full findings. The session lasted nearly 4 hours. Sources told NBC News that the atmosphere inside was described as grim, with even Republican members sitting in stunned silence as investigators walked through the evidence. Senator Graham, who chairs the Budget Committee and has been one of Trump's most reliable defenders, was reportedly among the last to leave the briefing room. It was approximately 45 minutes after that briefing concluded that Graham was caught on the hot mic. He had returned to the Senate chamber for a procedural vote on an unrelated appropriations measure. Standing near his desk, apparently believing his lapel microphone was off, he turned to a colleague and said the words that are now dominating every news cycle in America. "I don't think he survives this one." The audio was picked up by C-SPAN's floor microphones and broadcast live before Senate technicians could intervene. Within minutes, the clip had been viewed over 11 million times across social media platforms. Drop a comment right now if you saw this coming. I read every
I
single
don't
one.
think he
Now
survives
things get
this one.
absolutely wild. Graham's office initially attempted damage control,
releasing a statement within the hour claiming the senator's words were taken out of context and referred to a pending legislative vote, not the president's political future. But that explanation collapsed almost immediately when a second clip emerged. In this additional audio, captured just seconds before the now infamous 7 words, Graham can be heard saying, "Have you read the full annex? It's worse than what they're reporting." That context and members sitting in stunned silence as investigators walked through the evidence. Senator Graham, who chairs the Budget Committee and has been one of Trump's most reliable defenders, was reportedly among the last to leave the briefing room. It was approximately 45 minutes after that briefing concluded that Graham was caught on the hot mic. He had returned to the Senate chamber for a procedural vote on an unrelated appropriations measure. Standing near his desk, apparently believing his lapel microphone was off, he turned to a colleague and said the words that are now dominating every news cycle in America. "I don't think he survives this one." The audio was picked up by C-SPAN's floor microphones and broadcast live before Senate technicians could intervene. Within minutes, the clip had been viewed over 11 million times across social media platforms. Drop a comment right now if you saw this coming. I read every single one. Now things get absolutely wild. Graham's office initially attempted damage control, releasing a statement within the hour claiming the senator's words were taken out of context and referred to a pending legislative vote, not the president's political future. But that explanation collapsed almost immediately when a second clip emerged. In this additional audio, captured just seconds before the now infamous 7 words, Graham can be heard saying, "Have you read the full annex? It's worse than what they're reporting." That context made it impossible to sustain the claim that he was discussing anything other than the Inspector General's findings and their implications for Trump. That's when it became clear this isn't just another political scandal that would blow over in a news cycle. The bombshell moment came when Senator Mitt Romney, who was identified as the colleague Graham had been speaking to, released his own statement. Romney confirmed that the exchange was about the Inspector General's report and added that he agreed with Graham's assessment. 2 Republican senators, one of them among Trump's most loyal allies, now publicly on record suggesting the president may not politically survive the findings. This move sent shockwaves through Republican leadership. When Lindsey Graham, a man who famously transformed from one of Trump's harshest critics in 2016 to one of his most dependable allies, is caught admitting privately what he would never say publicly, it signals a fundamental shift. The claims of a partisan witch hunt collapse entirely when the president's own inner circle is acknowledging the severity of the situation on tape. This isn't the first time mounting pressure has forced cracks in presidential alliances. Think back to Richard Nixon during Watergate. For months, Republican leaders publicly defended Nixon while privately expressing alarm. The turning point came when Senator Barry Goldwater, the godfather of modern conservatism, walked into the Oval Office and told Nixon directly that he had fewer than 15 votes in the Senate to survive impeachment. Nixon resigned 2 days later. The parallel is unmistakable. When the party's most loyal voices start speaking the quiet part out loud, the end is approaching faster than anyone expects. Then there was the second impeachment in January 2021 when 7 Republican senators voted to convict. The key difference then was that Trump had already left office, reducing the political cost of breaking ranks. This time, the stakes are exponentially higher because the president is sitting in the Oval Office with full executive power, and the evidence involves not political judgment calls but alleged financial self-dealing with taxpayer money. Subscribe immediately if you haven't yet. This content doesn't exist anywhere else. And let's not forget the pattern of escalation over the past year. First came the clashes with the judiciary over executive privilege claims that multiple federal courts rejected. Then the confrontation with the Pentagon over unauthorized reallocation of defense funds. Now an Inspector General's report alleging systematic corruption in federal contracting. Each controversy larger than the last. Each one eroding another layer of support. The pattern is clear. When evidence of abuse of power accumulates to a critical mass, even the most loyal allies eventually reach a breaking point. Graham's hot mic moment may be the first audible crack in a dam that has been straining for months. So what allegedly triggered this unprecedented reaction from one of Trump's closest Senate allies? According to legal and government ethics experts who have reviewed the publicly available portions of the Inspector General's report, The findings point to potential violations of multiple federal statutes. The report documents alleged violations of the Federal Acquisition Regulation, obstruction of Inspector General investigations, and potential violations of 18 U.S. Code Section 208, which prohibits federal officials from participating in matters where they have a personal financial interest. Here's the kicker. The classified annex reportedly contains recorded phone calls in which administration officials explicitly discuss steering contracts to benefit specific individuals. Sources who have been briefed on the recordings told CNN that the conversations leave virtually no room for alternative interpretation. This wasn't a gray area of executive discretion. It was an alleged criminal enterprise operating inside the federal procurement system. Don't go anywhere. The most explosive part is coming next. And here's what should alarm everyone, regardless of political affiliation. This isn't just about one administration or one set of contracts. If a president can direct billions in federal spending to personally connected entities without consequence, the entire foundation of public trust in government contracting collapses. Once that precedent is set, there's no turning back. Every future administration would operate with the implicit understanding that the federal budget is a personal piggy bank for those in power. This puts Republicans in Congress in a nearly impossible position. On one side, they face a base that remains fiercely loyal to Trump and views any criticism as betrayal. That means defending the president regardless of the evidence, attacking the inspector general as politically motivated, and framing the entire situation as another deep state operation. On the other side, they are confronted with an inspector general appointed by their own party, career civil servants with decades of nonpartisan service, and now one of their most prominent colleagues caught on tape admitting the evidence is devastating. They have to explain to voters why billions in taxpayer dollars allegedly funneled to connected insiders, and that's a position that's nearly impossible to defend heading into midterm elections. And here's the tricky part. There's no credible defense available. Either the Inspector General's findings are accurate, in which case the actions documented are indefensible, or the entire report is fabricated, which would require believing that a presidentially appointed Inspector General, dozens of career civil servants, and now Republican senators, including Lindsey Graham himself, are all participants in a coordinated conspiracy. The math simply doesn't work. Legal and political analysts are calling this a potential constitutional crisis. Lawrence Tribe, Harvard law professor and constitutional scholar, told MSNBC that the Inspector General's findings, if substantiated, represent the most serious allegations of executive branch corruption since Teapot Dome. He emphasized that the combination of documented evidence and the reaction of the president's own allies suggests the legal exposure extends well beyond political embarrassment into potential criminal liability. Do me a favor and slam that like button because it genuinely helps this video reach more people. Even Jonathan Turley, George Washington University law professor and frequent defender of presidential authority, acknowledged that the allegations are extraordinarily serious. He noted on Fox News that while he believes in due process and cautions against rushing to judgment, the Inspector General's methodology appears thorough, and the documented evidence, particularly the recorded conversations, will be extremely difficult to challenge legally. So let's break down what this could mean.
Okay.
First, the political impact is immediate and devastating. Graham's hot mic moment has given permission to every Republican who has been privately questioning their loyalty to do so publicly. Within 24 hours of the clip going viral, 3 additional Republican senators issued statements calling for a full Senate investigation. Before this moment, many Republicans feared that any criticism could end their careers. Now the calculus has reversed. Staying silent may be more politically dangerous than speaking out. Second, it creates an enormous problem for the administration's legal defense. Graham isn't just any senator. He's a former military attorney, a senior member of the judiciary. Against rushing to judgment, the Inspector General's methodology appears thorough, and the documented evidence, particularly the recorded conversations, will be extremely difficult to challenge legally. So let's break down what this could mean. First, the political impact is immediate and devastating. Graham's hot mic moment has given permission to every Republican who has been privately questioning their loyalty to do so publicly. Within 24 hours of the clip going viral, 3 additional Republican senators issued statements calling for a full Senate investigation. Before this moment, many Republicans feared that any criticism could end their careers. Now the calculus has reversed. Staying silent may be more politically dangerous than speaking out. Second, it creates an enormous problem for the administration's legal defense. Graham isn't just any senator. He's a former military attorney, a senior member of the Judiciary Committee, and one of the most prominent legal voices in the Republican Party. His private admission that the president may not survive this carries the weight of expert legal judgment, not just political opinion. Defense attorneys working on the administration's behalf are reported.
Boo-boo, if he don't survive, you're not going to survive. Ain't that kind of what Steve Bannon was trying to tell y'all when he had a panic attack a few months ago about the midterm? If he don't make it, a lot of y'all going to prison, is what he tried to warn y'all. And yes, he was one of the ones at that time pushing for the Epstein files to be released. But I don't know for the life of me how they forgot that they were in the Epstein files. Or maybe they didn't know that Epstein had so much in the files. Did they, when they were in office, did they not examine the information? Because it was on Trump's first watch, if memory serves me correctly, when they obtained the information. Or when did they obtain the documents? Y'all never looked at them when y'all were in office the first go round? I mean, because it's blowing my mind that these people are popping their gums in the files, and they keep saying, well, nobody cared about them before. Nobody, it appears, knew what was all up in there. Now, Massey, they were saying that the files that were supposed to be, when they got those files initially from the FBI, they had already been redacted. So when the Department of Justice got them, there was some redacted information. So when they unredacted, it went back to what the FBI provided to them when they got it. So it was the FBI who dropped the ball, it appears. And it also kind of appears that these folk that was saying release them, that are Trump's partners, didn't know that they was in the Epstein files. I don't get that. It would have never came out my mouth if I knew that I was entertaining these people. And to reveal them or expose them will be exposing myself. I don't get that. Or how did you forget that? How did they forget that? How did they forget that? And somebody has a copy of these files. And they leaking. Most definitely leaking.
Furious, recognizing that Graham's words will be replayed in every hearing, every deposition, and potentially every courtroom proceeding that follows.
Absolutely.
Finally, looking ahead, the institutional implications are profound. This changes the trajectory of congressional oversight for the remainder of this term. The Senate Judiciary Committee has already scheduled 3 weeks of public hearings beginning March 3rd. Subpoenas have been issued for 22 current and former administration officials.
Thank you, Max, to the
Department
boogie.
of Justice Inspector General has opened a parallel criminal referral process that operates independently of congressional action. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'm genuinely curious to see your perspective. But beyond the immediate political fallout, this is really about fundamental principles of democratic governance. The federal budget, the power to spend taxpayer money, is the most consequential authority entrusted to elected officials. It demands absolute fidelity to the public interest rather than private enrichment. If a president can systematically direct billions in contracts to personal associates without meaningful consequence, civilian oversight of government spending becomes meaningless. The implications for public trust
that man was told no today.
Would be catastrophic and potentially
he don't know how to act.
This scenario is causing sheer panic within Republican leadership. Reports from Politico indicate that Senate Minority Leader held an emergency conference call with Republican committee chairs within hours of the hot mic clip going viral. Some argued for a unified defense, attacking the leak and questioning the Inspector General's motives. Others, reportedly including several committee chairs, insisted that the evidence was too substantial to dismiss and that the party needed to get ahead of the story before it consumed them entirely.
Maxwell
The
was
caucus is
convicted.
fracturing in real time, torn between
Trump
tribal
thought his
loyalty and the
name was
inescapable
removed
reality of documented
after
evidence.
he reported Epstein.
Meanwhile,
I know I
Trump's base
said
is
that.
absolutely furious at
Now I knew Trump thought that he was redacted when he snitched, like he took a plea deal or a proffer. And I know that I'm almost sure that he only told on Epstein and did let them know that how deeply invested he was, and more than likely the ringleader. I dig that. But let's move past Trump. Lutnick. Oh, that didn't sound right, did it? That sounded like I said something else. Lutnick. Why did he even come out? The Secretary of Commerce or whatever he is. Why did he come out and start talking about Epstein in the house and I live 2 houses down? Now it sounds like he kind of threw himself in there. Maybe somebody has seen him or maybe he knew that there's possibility. But why did you even bring that up? Because now, you could have been his neighbor. It could have been innocent, but because you fronted and you lied and you said, oh, and it was just the way he said, he looked at his wife. It was like one of them, you ring, one of them horror little sitcoms. The way he said, he looked at his wife and he was scary or something, and I knew I would never do business, be seen with him or whatever after that visit. Right. And then for you to be all on the island, not just you, your wife who was with you at Epstein's house, and then you saw fit to bring your kids after he was convicted. Why would he do that? Bannon. He done played both sides. He was in the first administration. Him and Trump fell out. He teamed up with Epstein. Epstein was going to try to rebuild Epstein's image after being convicted the first time. He all on in the emails talking about Trump. That's why he's saying now he found out that who did he find out that was going against him? That he just found out in the Epstein files. I can't remember who was it that he said he just found out was going against him. It wasn't Clinton. It was somebody. He's just now finding out because of what's in the Epstein files. Well, Bannon was all over the Epstein files. He even knows that Putin got pictures of you sucking on Bill's pickle. That picture leaked. Then we got a leak of, that bedside manner. You know what? That's probably the video that they keep asking for. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's probably the video. Every time you turn around, they saying, give me that. Auntie Fee, give me that. That's what they are yanking. That bedside manner. Hey, Tehran. Now that I'm thinking about it, y'all, that's probably the one. Because after that one and that Pam Bundy one, when she was at that party, That's probably the ones that they are saying, give me that auntie fee. No, ma'am, you are not supposed to be having that. Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about, Janet. That type stuff. You know that you were still interacting with them, so why did you even say anything? Now we catching everything. And you're further implementing yourself. So we already know which one of the people, Congress and stuff, that possibly is involved. And if they ain't telling on themselves, S. Riley is. The Jim Johnson and the Supreme Court judge and, and all of them people, Andy. Yeah, all of that right there is the ones that they're holding on, y'all. I just want y'all to understand that the ones that she's saying, I will not release anything else, implement her, implement them people in the House and Senate and on the Supreme Court judges and all that type of stuff right there. It is showing maybe some deals and stuff with Putin. We know Israel. Yeah, all of that is up in there. And I just don't know how to get past that. Or how do our judicial system get past that? Lindsey Graham, all of that. Sasha Riley named quite a few people. I'm just saying. And now, what's his name? Hold on. What's his name? The one I like. What's his name? Lee. Is his name Lee? He all on this guy right here. He all on the limousine guy. He is all over the limousine guy. And that is who he's going to use to drive it home because it's not a female. Do y'all know who I'm talking about? This guy right here. I love him. I love him when they go before the House. I love him. I love his mindset. Because he goes straight in and he already knows. Where is it? I'm going to show y'all. He all over this guy. I thought his name was... Hold on. Where is he? Right here. Ted. And Ted is going to, he gonna nab Donald Trump.
Hopefully that.
Ted gonna nab Donald Trump. Let me make you smaller, sir. I really love you. I just love your whole demeanor. And I hope you ain't in the closet. I hope, not in the closet like that, but I hope, you don't come across that way, sir. Please don't surprise me with no crazy stuff later on. Please don't. Please allow me to have a good sense of judgment. This man right here, this is who is going to nab Donald Trump. And he is going to be the one who nabbed Donald Trump. And he is going to nab him with a man, not a woman, because for some reason, they want to say you can't believe the women. That, it's always a woman's fault. And, whatever they come up with, women be lying and whatever. But Ted, he is going to nab Trump. More than one case. More than one SA case. One with the limo driver and 2 with the Dusty from Keefner, Oklahoma. And the limo driver heard the conversation when Jeffrey Epstein called Trump after he raped her viciously. Do y'all remember that? Are y'all still with me? Can y'all hear me? Hello? He the one gonna get him.
Enhance
Let's go.
your membership with the American Express Platinum Card and access over $3,500 in annual value to experience the world.
Congressman Ted Lieu just made national headlines issuing this statement, further tying Trump to Epstein.
So why are Republicans so interested in Bill and Hillary Clinton? It's because they're trying to distract from the fact that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files thousands and thousands of times. In those files, there's highly disturbing allegations of Donald Trump raping children, of Donald Trump threatening to kill children. So I encourage your press to go look at these allegations. And I'm highly disturbed that Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche just got the law wrong. Yesterday, he said, essentially, that it is not a crime to party with Jeffrey Epstein. Well, that's actually not correct. If Jeffrey Epstein was human trafficking minors for these sex parties, and you show up and patronize the establishment at that party, yes, you're guilty, because patronizing is part of the law, the federal sex trafficking law. So,
absolutely.
Deputy General Todd Blanche just
I
got
thought
that
the guys who hold on. I thought the guys who patronized got more time because of the trafficking law. So yeah, the Johns get more time now, don't they? Mm-hmm.
All these folks, including Donald Trump, he needs to read the law and investigate these people. He also needs to resign, not only for not knowing the law, but a massive, not only screw up, but the biggest privacy violation in history. They release a lot of pictures of minors unredacted, just violated the privacy of these girls. It is uncalled for what they did. The one thing that they could not do under this law was to invade the privacy of these women now, who were girls at the time, who were victims of.
So it's almost like they mad at the victims. They are mad at the victims, just like it feels like he's mad at Savannah Guthrie because she provided them a platform. So it feels like that the Cookie Monsters are on a revenge campaign. And going to make them suffer again. Control them again. Did you forget what I told you? Did you forget? I told you that if you said anything, that I would hurt your family, or I would hurt you, or whatever they tell whatever big bad wolf they tell the victims. That's kind of how it feels like it's continuing. And then it feels like Pam Bondi, that Stockholm syndrome, like if something happened to her, I survived it, so get over it, kind of. I don't get that. I just don't get that. But that's how it feels to me. He has no regards for the victims. he said he feels sorry for former Prince Andrew. Do you feel sorry because you know it's coming around the mountain? Because King Charles said, I'm going to help the laws. And I'm sure he didn't want to have to put his brother up there and out there like that, but he didn't have a choice because he believes in following the laws. So when he talked to his brother, and he gonna ask him, I need for you to come clean. I can't help you unless you come absolutely clean. I don't, here is punishable by death. So I need for you to come on with it so I can help you. Are you gonna die for them people over there? Or are you gonna put their asses on the line and everybody suffer? See, if I was the king, that's how I would go about it. Give me what I need to help you live. Because I have put it out there that let the law do what it do. And let the chips fall where they lay. And I'm going to help the laws. So, hopefully, he give all their asses up. Because I saw him on his knees crawling to a baby. And the baby face was covered. So this little toddler, he was sitting down. So I don't know if he was crawling or if he was, I don't know. But former Prince Andrew was on his knees playing with a baby that was on the floor. These motherfuckers are sick. So, I hope King Charles saw enough that he is able to have his brother expose the whole fucking organization. And then you giving away top secret information? Yeah, okay. And China, okay. And China say they can knock out the whole U.S. with one push. From one end to the other. Oh, okay. Let's go.
Sex trafficking. Also, he met with Ghislaine Maxwell. Maxwell moved her to minimum security prison and then got a puppy for her. So for all those reasons, he's just got to leave the Department of Justice.
And not only that, Auntie Fee got the picture that was leaked with Ghislaine Maxwell hand on Melania's titties.
You're going to hear in a moment in my interview with Ted Lieu, he discusses the fact that these allegations weren't investigated. That is a problem. And second, if you transpose
The genie
a Democrat
is out the
into
bottle.
Trump's shoes,
They
and there
panicking.
were
Oh
allegations
yeah.
of a Democrat committing the crimes that Trump is accused of committing in a file that a Democratic president refused to release to the public, what do you think Republicans would do? They would beat this drum 24 hours a day, demand hearings, demand investigations, demand impeachment, and by the way, they would be right. This should not be and is not partisan. That is why Thomas Massie and Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace and formerly Marjorie Taylor Greene were all in favor of transparency. Because this is centered around the one thing that Trump himself and his fellow Republicans in his administration all exploited when they were running for office. This idea that there is an elite echelon of people who can commit crimes with impunity. And with humility, I will admit that they were right. But what they didn't tell you was that they all knew full well it was happening because they were the ones doing it. You're watching No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen. Next up are my interviews with Ted Lieu, Kara Swisher, and Keith Ellison. I'm joined now by Congressman Ted Lieu. Congressman, thanks for joining me.
Honor
when
to
you
be on
get
your
a
show.
chance
So,
on TV,
Congressman, you've
look
pointed out in a clip that's going viral across
Sammy
social
on
media
top
right now
of.
that Donald Trump himself is implicated in the Epstein files with accusations that are beyond heinous. Now, Todd Blanche, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel have all come forward and basically said that there's no reason to look into the files at any co-conspirators because they don't exist. And so how do you square these two things where you have evidence against Donald Trump himself in these files, and yet all of these law enforcement officials
Okay,
who refuse
thank
to
you.
acknowledge objective reality?
Absolutely. Pam Bondi and Kash Patel lied under oath. Todd Blanche also lied, but he wasn't under oath, so lucky for him. If you look at the Epstein files release that's come out so far, there are multiple documents where there's evidence implicating Trump in not just crimes, but deeply serious crimes. And so I'll just give you one example. The FBI's own internal slideshow that they had is about 21 slides. Two of their allegations are about Donald Trump committing crimes. You also have a FBI document. It's an intake form of a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center. And the witness reports that he met a girl who directly told him that Trump and Epstein raped her. The Department of Justice never interviews this witness, doesn't do follow-up.
Now, you had posted about
He's
this
talking
online,
about the limo
and
driver.
DOJ's rapid response account, and granted, I take everything that the administration, especially as it relates to the Epstein files, with a grain of salt, but they said that she spoke with the FBI and her claims were deemed not credible. This was all unredacted, as we said. So can I have your reaction to the DOJ's rapid response account?
Well, that's just false. So the document I'm referring to is an intake form from the FBI's National Threat Operations Center. The person making their witness statement was a man relaying what a girl he met had told him. This man was also a limousine driver for Donald Trump. And he also says in the same witness report that he overheard Donald Trump talking to Jeffrey on his cell phone, talking about abusing a girl, and that what Donald Trump said was so disturbing, the man wanted to stop the limo and...
Well, Ted Lou, boo-boo, I don't know if you didn't get a chance to get the second video where he said Donald Trump refreshed his memory and confessed to him that he was his first boy. I don't know if you missed that. It was a whole separate video. So yes, he heard that confession with Jeffrey Epstein and him saying, yes, he did rape her. What's her name? Have somebody take care of it. A different video, he made mention that Donald Trump in that car before he slung his ass by the quick jab on the brakes made him hit the floor. Raped him as well some time ago. He went on to start naming Murdoch and some what's his name? Let me end on that one. Let me end on that one. Yeah. Yeah. So the guy that he is making mention of, indeed dial 911 the hotline. I know I ain't dropped that one. I know good and damn well I ain't dropped that one. And I believe in my heart of heart, that's who he's going to use. Someone who absolutely is not emotional at all. He ain't emotional at all. He wanted to unalive Donald Trump. And I mean, you could feel, I just knew when I knew that man had a whole different type of anger. He had a whole different type of anger. He had a whole different type of anger. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me get to it. Hold on. And this is how we gonna end. Please don't tell me that they done scraped the internet. Is he one of the ones? Hold on, y'all. Hit the like button. Please. I'm trying to understand why I can't find it no more. I know they have not removed him. I think I may have just figured out something. And what they are trying to remove from the internet. Because I can't find it now, y'all. Hey, I'll be back later. Okay. Bye. I can't find him now. What is he saying?
YouTube, Sergey Brin, Larry Page, all suck.
Oh, they got him. They did get him. They got him. Okay, no, okay. But what was... They are lying. Hold on.
3 presidents.
No, that ain't
That's
the
how many
one.
people I...
Where are them other ones? Hold on.
Oh, Lordy. 26 years ago today, this world lost one of the most angelic and what was going on with the heads of church and state 2,000 years ago. I'm going to tag you on this video. Other human beings and their feelings.
No, that ain't it. Mm-mm. That ain't it.
Okay, Donald. You or your little, I really don't have a description for you or the people that support you that's apparently fitting. And I really don't miss it that much. We had out of business. So I do know you, Donald.
Okay.
And I know you or your little, I really don't have a description for you or the people that support you that's apparently fitting to be published on YouTube.
Hey y'all, I need for y'all to hit the like button. This is the one we gonna go out on. This man right here was a victim, and he knows another one of Donald. He's a Donald Trump victim, as well as he's aware of a Donald Trump victim that is no longer living. And he was driving the limo. So he is in the Epstein files. He is who Ted Lieu is talking about. And I believe that Ted Lieu is going to use him, because he also told Pam Bondi in her hearing that she needed to get over to talk with him. He's a witness, and no one has reached out to him. So he, I believe, is in contact with him. Hold on. So please hit my like button so I can go out peacefully. Hold on. Here I come. I have to find where I had it. God dang. William Soskin, William Time. Get down here. I don't even know where I was when I was. Oh, it was down here. Here you go. Let's go. Hey, I'm going to be away for a week from tomorrow. Oh, I hope you're going on vacation. You going on vacation?
Because the people in power at YouTube who make
Catch you later tomorrow
decisions
if I
on
can.
what
Okay,
to be
have
posted
fun.
and can't obviously
What's that?
love money more than they do the truth. So they are defiling the tree of knowledge of good and evil to facilitate keeping their tax breaks that you give them. So let me tell you about when I drove you to DFW Airport where you had to land because you hadn't paid your tarmac fees at Love Field. And they wouldn't give your pilots clearance to land at Love Field, so you went to DFW Airport instead. So on the way driving you there, you began bragging on the phone to somebody named Jeffrey, about how you had abused a 14-year-old girl who was my daughter by choice from the time she was about 7 years old. And I got so mad at you that I pulled the car over on the side of Highway 114. They're on the north side of Las Colinas, Texas. And I contemplated doing something very, very bad to you that would have ended up with you not proceeding from that point. But I didn't do that because I actually have love for my wife, now my ex-wife, but I still love her. I love
Trump
her as
does
much
like
now as I
paying
did
anyone.
when we were married,
Or
actually.
he doesn't.
We're just not together anymore because
You mean
we had some problems. That were actually caused by you behaving like you did when you sat right behind me in that Cadillac four-door sedan, as you bragged about how you had raped my daughter by choice, Dusty. So this is where this stands now. You are in jeopardy. You are in jeopardy of just simply sorry I was. And I really still am. Now my ex-wife, but I still love her. I love her as much now as I did when we were married, actually. We're just not together anymore because we had some problems. You not proceeding from that point. But I didn't do that because I actually have loved a 14-year-old girl who was my daughter by choice from the time
I'm on this thing. It keeps, I'm sorry.
She was about 7 years old. And I got so mad at you that I pulled the car over on the side of Highway 114, there on the north side of Los Colones. So on the way driving you there, you began bragging on the phone to somebody named Jeffrey, about how you had abused a 14-year-old girl who was my daughter by choice from the time she was about 7 years old. And I got so mad at you that I pulled the car over on the side of Highway 114, there on the north side of Las Colinas, Texas, and I contemplated doing something very, very bad to you that would have ended up with you not proceeding from that point. But I didn't do that because I actually have love for my wife, now my ex-wife, but I still love her. I love her as much now as I did when we were married, actually. We're just not together anymore because we had some problems. That were actually caused by you behaving like you did when you sat right behind me in that Cadillac four-door sedan, as you bragged about how you had raped my daughter by choice, Dusty. So this is where this stands now. You are in jeopardy. You are in jeopardy of spending all of eternity chained up, so to speak, in a small little box, so to speak, in the dark, all by yourself. And there's only one way that you can avoid that. And that's by doing something that I personally did a long time ago. I made a public post on my old Facebook account, apologizing to the world, because I don't have any way of contacting some of the people that I did bad things to. I don't even know who some of them are anymore. I don't remember them. I never killed anybody like you have. I never raped anybody like you have. But I did things that were not nice. So I made an open apology to everybody that if I had ever harmed you, how deeply sorry I was. And I really still am very sorry for the way I behaved for a long time. I behaved that way because I suffered from a condition called PTSD that was caused a lot by when you came to my parents' house in 1973. I know you remember that because you referenced that while I was driving you.
Yeah, this man, after, in the other video, after Trump hunted him down, his limousine company that he worked for, Hunt requested him several times by name. So Trump knew who he was. If that ain't a predator, I don't know what it is. You remembered your victim. You know why you remembered him? Because he was your first boy. He was your first boy. Y'all hold on. Wow. Wow, Lord. Yeah, let me finish this up. I got it. Lord, oh my God. Lord, expose all the predators. Expose all the predators. Local and afar. But this man right here, Trump was so obsessed with him, hunted this man down because he was his first boy. Once a predator, always a predator, unless God steps in and change it. But this is wild. This is, and for Ted Lieu to keep bringing up this situation, and this man right here from Oklahoma can expose Trump on more than one assault. Let's go.
You said, "You don't remember me, do you?"
Oh Lord, let me go.
And I said, "Should I?" It's that 73.
1973.
I know you remember that.
So he been sick since 1973, cause he was Trump's first boy. Since 1973, that was his first boy encounter. And we don't know about the girls, but the boys.
When you came to my parents' house in 1970, that if I had ever harmed you, how deeply sorry I was. And I really still am very sorry for the way I behaved for a long time. I behaved that way because I suffered from a condition called PTSD that was caused a lot by when you came to my parents' house in 1973. I know you remember that because you referenced that while I was driving you. You said, "You don't remember me, do you?" And I said, "Should I?" And you said, "You should. You were my first boy." And I still didn't remember you because I had suppressed all those memories. And it had caused me to have a thing called PTSD. But as those memories came back to me, the PTSD left because I was able to work through them. The memories and the abuse that I suffered as a child. So I don't know really what you can do other than just get on a worldwide broadcast, which you can do because you chose to become POTUS. And you and I discussed that a little bit while I drove you, if you recall. But when I started recalling those memories in January of 2010, the need to self-medicate with alcohol
2010
or any kind of substance, mental altering substance, went away. Oh, it's a miracle. No, it was just me remembering what had caused my urge to consume mind-altering substances. And I never really enjoyed it that much anyway. So maybe you might think about, apologizing for what you've done. Now, this is how I proved to everybody that I was sincerely sorry, was I quit behaving like I used to. I quit lying. I quit drinking. I quit running around looking for sex. As a matter of fact, I've only had sex one time since my divorce in 1995. And I really don't miss it that much. That was just one of my releases from the PTSD that I suffered, predominantly because of you, Donald. So I'm going to keep praying that you will develop a conscience. I know that's a pretty big order for you, because I really do know who you really are. Remember what you did while you were sitting right behind me, and I saw you in the mirror, and I kind of laughed and said, wow, that was cool, do that again. And you got so mad it literally looked like your head was going to catch on fire or explode or something. But then we turned the corner into DFW Airport, and there sat your great big jetliner with your name plastered all over the side of it, and you calmed down all of a sudden when you remembered how rich you were, how wealthy you were. Of course, you didn't recall how many people you had stiffed out of paying them for a lot of the work they did, like Tulsa Granite, for example. Did you know I worked at Tulsa Granite? Is that why you reached out to them to do all those vanity tops at your hotel and casino? Because I actually cut those granite tops. I ran the bridge saw.
He knows him.
Cut those granite tops that went into your casino and hotel. I really did. And you bankrupted Tulsa Granite. Hadn't it been for the woman's husband bailing Tulsa Granite out, it would have gone under because of you and put, I don't know, I think it was about 10 or 12 employees we had out of business. So I do know you, Donald. And I know you from even before 1973. I'm sure you don't remember me seeing you at that facility behind the Masonic Temple. You don't remember me seeing you carving a piece of meat off of that fire-roasted thing on that
sacrifice.
Spit.
Sacrifice. He saw him carve somebody that was being roasted at a lodge or behind the lodge.
Off of that fire-roasted, remember me seeing you at that facility behind the Masonic Temple. You don't remember me seeing you carving a piece of meat off of that fire-roasted thing on that spit. But I saw you. I'm sure Rupert Murdoch will remember that. Having that pistol crammed up against his neck while my uncle had a hold of the other side of his neck to get us up out of there after what we saw you doing?
So he shot his uncle? Yeah, I'm almost positive Ted Lou
Having that
is gonna
pistol
use
crammed up against
you,
his neck
sir.
while my uncle had a... But I saw you. I'm sure Rupert Murdoch will remember that. Having that pistol crammed up against his neck while my uncle had a hold of the other side of his neck to get us up out of there after what we saw you doing. Remember that, Donald? I sure do. That was horrific. And your buddy, Jim Shorts Jordan, he actually asked me if I had ever had sex with right before we turned the corner, and he said, well, that's what I'm getting ready to do. And as we turned the corner where you could see that building, he actually had sitting in the back seat of that sedan. I had to sit there and wait for him to get unexcited enough to get out of the car and walk. So I know all about that stuff. Now, understand, I realize that the people in that organization that are not up there in the very highest part of it, they have no comprehension of what those guys are up to at the very highest level of that organization. They're actually, for the most part, all good men. They're just manipulated by the high-ups to do, just little tiny things here and there to help them accomplish their goal of remaining in power over the whole planet and over all the world governments. So, you could possibly keep yourself from spending eternity chained away all by yourself with nobody to ever communicate with again for the rest of eternity by getting honest and asking for forgiveness and meaning it and proving that you mean it by changing your behavior.
I agree, sir.
Just like I did.
I agree.
It's completely up to you, Donald.
This is absolutely...
I don't hate you.
A coming to Jesus time.
I don't. And as I told you before, I forgive you. I figured out a way to forgive you because I applied the theorem of influence to what you have done. You do have a predominantly human brain that is susceptible to influence. And here's a little key. Without influence, you and me, and everybody else on the planet, and the planet itself, and all of the other planets in the universe, and stars, and the universe itself, without influence, it wouldn't exist. And that doesn't matter if you're a straight creationist or a straight evolutionist or some mixture thereof or what your personal beliefs are. Without influence, nothing would exist. And the influence that you and a lot of people like you have is very, very bad. So everyone who has a bad influence needs to change their behavior. And they probably need to do it pretty quick. Because our creators really are getting very close to arriving here on this planet. They're in a massive kind of a spaceship type of thing. It's actually just a relay station, if you will, for
This is who Ted
like
Lieu is going to use to bring Donald Trump down.
Star Trek or whatever.
He done already. So let me tell you something. I thought only Sasha. You remember Sasha kind of brought up some of the congressmen, especially Jim Jordan, but he brings up Jim Jordan too. And as far back as in the 70s. In the 70s. Along with some other people. And he was a victim of Trump's. And he has a daughter by choice that was a victim of choice. His uncle knew Donald Trump, and I'm assuming his parents as well, because he said Donald Trump came to his house. So I'm not sure if his parents, family, were Freemasons or a part of the secret society. That's what it sounds like. He haven't went off into that detail, but it was by the Masonic Lodge where they was carving carving. Yeah. So I'm almost sure that this is going to, and he's a guy. He's a guy. So it's not a whole bunch of females, emotional females. No, this is a guy who has a medical history of being violated. It caused him to have PTSD. And he has some first-hand account. Okay, y'all, I'm finna go. I gotta go deal with this phone call. I may be back later on tonight. Peace out. Oh yeah, I gotta come back later on and talk about erasing the Black history. What that's all about with Donald Trump.